Welcome to Unboxed Politics, the political review show. Not quite.
Not quite.
We have banished Tim to the netherworld.
That's right.
But we're gonna not do political review. Instead, we're gonna be doing live fact checking and debate coverage because it's debate night, boys. Woo-hoo. It's been a few months. It's been a few months since we've had a juicy debate. This debate is already
at least 2 years before more, right? That was the rule.
This is a debate in progress. I think they're actually wrapping up. So this is a very fresh watch. We're going to watch from the beginning of the coverage, but we have the fortune of being able to fast forward through all the pauses.
Welcome.
So we planned this. We T-voted perfectly, and all for your benefit.
Lindo 47 streaming and digital platforms. Politico.com, Telexitos, and YouTube. The first hour is also live on Channel 4 and Telemundo.
Who's the guy in the middle?
We do have a few rules for the candidates.
Oh, that's Sliwa.
Traditional question and answer.
The subway guardian.
1 minute to respond.
Where is his red hat?
Rebuttals at the moderator.
Where's the red beret?
Asking questions where we will be looking
I will
for
say,
shorter answers.
I have way more respect for him than Cuomo.
I don't know, dude. I don't know, dude. I saw a little bit of this earlier. He's kind of a crackpot.
To hear everything you have to say.
But he has integrity for a crackpot.
Thank you, David, and good evening, gentlemen.
Well,
Thank
if
you
we're
for
going to watch a
being
debate,
here.
I need to
We
have a
begin
talk.
tonight by
am I
asking
supposed to read that?
to do what every mayor dreams of, and that is to write your own headlines. Imagine it's January 2027.
Jesus.
I did this. Why can't you?
We would like you to quickly give us one headline about what you think your biggest accomplishment will have been in year number one. We'll begin with you.
Yeah, Greg's living on the
First,
wild
thank you very
side.
much for sponsoring the debate and having all of us. The one headline, how many characters in the headline?
You know, you're familiar with headline length.
Rent down, comma, crime down, comma, education scores up, comma, more jobs in New York City.
Now we're getting maybe a little over the average headline length, but
Optimism high.
thank you.
What
Put it in your
Sliwa.
deposition.
Curtis Sliwa is without his iconic red beret because I'm talking to the people of New York City about the really serious issues of affordability, the cost of living, and obviously
Dude,
what
you can't wear a
I spent
hat?
most of my life doing, which is public safety in the
Sliwa,
streets and the subways.
We would love a headline from you. What will your headline be, your big headline, and year number one as mayor?
Ramble.
Exceeds all expectations.
I got the perfect
and
headline.
Looks very mayoral tonight.
Mr. Mamdani, you've had some time to think about it.
Mayor
Now, what's your
Mamdani.
headline?
It's a pleasure to be here, first of all, and I really want to thank the moderators and the opportunity to speak directly to New Yorkers about this moment in time and our opportunity to transform the most expensive city in the United States of America. The headline would read in about a year, Mamdani continues to take on Trump, delivers on affordability agenda for New Yorkers.
Thank you, Mr. Mamdani. Sally?
Thank you, Melissa.
He
We're
got
gonna
Trump
talk
in there
about
the right way,
leadership.
too.
Voters have reservations
Score
about
one
all
for
three of you
Mamdani.
as chief executive
Already
of
winning.
New York City, a city with roughly 300,000 employees and a budget bigger than many countries.
Here we go. We'll
We
get
have
a
questions
score.
for each of you, and Mr. Cuomo, we will begin with you. As a former governor of New York, you obviously have the management experience. But you resigned from office amid sexual harassment and COVID-related scandals. Why should voters now trust that you have the character to be mayor? You have 1 minute.
Good. Well, thank you very much, and thank you for the question. First,
You know that boat you're
you are
in?
right. I
Let me
left
poke a
office.
little
There was
hole
a
in it.
report that was done
Yeah.
that had allegations of harassment. I said at the time it was a political report and that there was no basis to it. It was then sent to 5 district attorneys. They all reviewed it. They found nothing. It was then litigated for 5 years. I was dropped from the cases. So none of that came to anything. When it comes to executive experience,
It's not exactly innocent,
I've
is it?
run the Department of Housing and Urban Development, built housing all across the nation. I was governor for 11 years. The budget is double what it is in New York City, and I got government to work. I passed groundbreaking laws, minimum wage, paid family leave, built
And
projects
fun
that
fact,
had never been built
they
before.
dropped him from
This
the
is
suit.
no job for
The city
on-the-job
still settled.
training. And if you look at the failed mayors, they're ones that had
Read into
no
that how you will.
management experience. Don't do it again.
Thank you. Rosarina?
Thank you, Sally. In the theme of leadership,
Tons.
Mr. Mamdani, you work as a foreclosure prevention counselor for winning seat in the State Assembly. You have no substantial management experience. How are you ready to lead the nation's largest and greatest city in the world in one day?
Can't do worse than Trump.
You know, I have the experience of having served in the New York State Assembly for 5 years and watching a broken political system, the experience of seeing a governor in Andrew Cuomo who would rather have served his billionaire donors and the working class New Yorkers who voted for him, and the experience amidst all of that of fighting and winning for working class taxi drivers to free them from predatory debt and delivering the first free bus lines in New York City history, and in working with unions and working class New Yorkers to finally raise taxes just that little bit on Mr. Cuomo's donors to start to fully fund our public school. And more than that, I have the experience of being a New Yorker, someone who has actually paid rent in the city before I ran for mayor, someone who has had to wait for a bus that never came, someone who actually buys his groceries in this same city. And what all of that experience has shown me, which Mr. Cuomo can't seem to understand, is that it is far too expensive and far too hard for New Yorkers to afford to live in this city. And the definition of experience is not doing the same thing again and again and hoping for a different result. That's actually the definition of insanity.
Thank you, Mr. Mamdani.
If I can, I think I was invoked.
Yes.
In other words, what the Assemblyman said is he has no experience. And this is not a job for someone who has no management experience to run 300,000 people, no financial experience to run $115 billion budget. He literally has never had a job. On his resume, it says he interned for his mother. This is not a job for a first-timer. Any day,
Really, Cuomo?
you could have a hurricane, you have, God forbid, a 9/11, a health pandemic. If you don't know what you're doing, people
Had to drop
Mr.
not a lot
Mamdani,
to
do
do
you want to
it.
respond?
And if we have a health pandemic, then why would New Yorkers turn back to the governor
Right.
who sent seniors to their death in nursing homes? That's the kind of experience that's on offer here today. What I don't have in experience, I make up for in integrity. And what you don't have in integrity, you could never make up for in experience.
Yes. May I? First, what you said was totally false,
Right on.
as you know.
Which part was false?
During COVID, everyone did whatever they could in this state. And there have been numerous investigations where they've gone through it and they
Not what
said
the
we
reports
follow
say.
federal guidance. But yes, people died during COVID. And my heart breaks for everyone that
not what he
that
said.
died in this state and across this nation.
But just to be clear,
That's-
just to fact check that, there is a criminal investigation reportedly underway at the DOJ
Hello.
about your testimony to Congress about
Hello.
your nursing home record.
Yeah, but that is a
I don't wanna
political
talk
issue
about
with the
those
Congress.
facts.
They made a referral.
I wanna talk about my
which
made-up
has gone
facts.
absolutely nowhere. But there have been multiple investigations where the DOJ found that the nursing home investigation was politically motivated.
Okay, we're going to
Still-
move on. We might have time to
that
come back
never
to it. I
came.
do need to move on
Yeah,
to
but
Mr.
may I just
Sliwa.
finish my
No,
rebuttal?
shut up.
It's not your
But
turn.
the Assemblyman still says he has no experience to do the job.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Cuomo. Mr. Sliwa, as founder of the Guardian Angels and as a radio
Guardian
host, you've been a
Angels.
well-known figure in New York City for
That's sewer
decades.
rats.
But you also
Oh,
lack
man.
substantial management experience. So how are you prepared to be the chief executive officer of New York City? You have 1 minute, Mr. Sliwa.
1 minute.
First of all, I created the Guardian Angels to provide public safety in the subways and streets when government was incapable of doing so. I didn't do it to get a title or a paycheck. Secondarily, I don't declare myself to be all-knowing. I will hire the very brightest and best in their fields who have dedicated their lives to trying to improve the city of New York or the state or the federal government or the private sector. But what I will say is, thank God I'm not a professional politician. We have the architect and we have the apprentice of no cash bail, which has been a disaster. We have the architect and the apprentice here of Raise the Age. My own son
the beret.
was almost killed
He goes to
because
have
of
his
that
red
in a gang
beret. I'm
attack.
helping him
We
out.
have the architect and we have the apprentice of
Who is
Close
this
Rikers
dude? I've never
Island,
seen him
which would
before.
just release
neither.
criminals in the street. Thank God.
He's a subway.
I'm not a professional politician because they have helped create this crime crisis in the city that we face, and I will
Thank you,
resolve.
Mr. Sliwa.
Thank you, Mr. Sliwa. Candidates, President Trump has expressed intense interest in this election and in all of you personally. Mr. Mamdani,
He didn't worry
the president
about
called
trying to
you,
get
quote,
Sliwa
"a
out
little
of there."
Communist. Mr. Sliwa, he said
like,
you're
he's
quote,
fine.
not exactly prime time. Mr. Cuomo, he has been critical of you, but said you have always gotten along. The president has threatened to cut federal funds to the city. And just yesterday, he killed the Gateway Project, the tunnel connecting New York to New Jersey. You've all promised to resist him in some way. What would you say in your first official call with the president to set the tone for your relationship moving forward? We'll give you a minute for this. We'll start with you, Mr. Mamdani.
Fuck you, Trump.
I would make it clear to the president that I am willing to not only speak to him, but to work with him if it means delivering on lowering the cost of living for New Yorkers. That's something that he ran his presidential campaign on, and yet all he's been able to deliver thus far has been prosecuting his political enemies and trying to enact the largest deportation program in American history. And what distinguishes me from Andrew Cuomo is the fact that he has gotten on the phone with that same president, not asking him how to work together to help New Yorkers, or not telling him that he would refuse to back down to protect those New Yorkers, but instead asking him how to win this race. That's something I can do myself. I don't need the president's assistance for. And what I tell the president is if he ever wants to come for New Yorkers in the way that he has been, he's going to have to get through me as the next mayor of this city.
All right, Mr. Cuomo, we'll give you a little extra time, but I'd like you to answer this question as well. What your first conversation with the president would be like?
Okay. First, I never had a conversation with the president. I think
Here we go.
he's talking about.
Here we go.
I never did those things.
I don't
has a distant
know.
relationship with the truth. I would say to the president in the first conversation, look, we have had many, many battles. We fought together every day during COVID. And the battles were bloody.
See in court.
And I'd like to avoid that. You know, if you come after New York, you know what I'm going to do. You know it's going to be ugly. And, you know, my chances are almost 50-50, even though you're the president. I'd like to work with you. I think we can do good things together. But number one, I will fight you every step of the way if you try to hurt New York.
Unless he weaponizes the justice system to go after the attorney general of this state, in which case you'll issue a statement that doesn't even name the president. And no matter what you think about Donald Trump, you know that not even being able to name him is an act of cowardice. And that's what we would see from Donald Trump's puppet on the right over here.
I do want to get this through, but Mr. Cuomo, I'll give you a few seconds to respond to that.
He broke the rules.
I did mention, I said political weaponization of the justice system is wrong. Both sides do it. It's wrong when Donald Trump does it. It's wrong when they did it to Comey. It's wrong when Comey did it to Hillary. It was wrong when it happened to Judge James.
Thank you, Mr. Cuomo. I want to give Mr. Stewart a chance to answer this. Mr. Stewart, your first official conversation with the president, what would you say to set the tone?
Well, first of all, there's high levels of testosterone.
I thought he went home.
I've had a love-hate relationship with Donald Trump that goes back over 30 years. But I know one thing. We have Andrew Cuomo. We have Zoran Mandami. They want to take on Donald Trump. Look, you can be tough.
What? Only one of
but
them saying
you
that.
can't be tough if it's going to cost people desperately needed federal funds. Zoran Mandami, the president, has already said it's going to take $7 billion out of the budget right from the start if you're elected mayor. People are going to suffer in this city. People who need those federal funds.
So vote
what
for
I
me
would do
so
is
we
sit
can
and
bow down to
negotiate.
that
I would say,
imperial
Mr. President,
Exactly.
we need that Gateway Tunnel. It moves millions of people from Washington, D.C. to Boston. But take away the Q train project. We don't need those 3 stations going from 96th Street to 125th. It's not a necessity. Sit with the president and whoever he delegates and try to negotiate. But if you try to get tough with Trump, the only people who are going to suffer from that are the people of New York City.
Okay, Mr. Sleewa, thank you.
The
Brief
only
response, Mr.
people
Mamdani.
Trump doesn't
Mr.
mess
Trump
with
is
are the people
already
that stand up to
suspending
him.
infrastructure grants to this city, and he's doing it in a blatant act of political retribution. And what it requires is leadership that will stand up to him. And I disagree with Mr. Slewa. We do need to extend the 2nd Avenue subway to 125th Street. It was a promise made to Harlemites decades ago.
Okay.
It's time to actually fulfill
Thank
it.
you, Mr. Mamdani.
Okay, quick question for each of you. Mr. Cuomo, you've been asked this before.
He mentioned my name. Don't I get a chance to respond?
Well, we got a lot of ground to cover, Mr. Slewa.
When was the last time you spoke with President Trump?
You don't
Mr.
matter.
Cuomo, you've been asked this before, and the last time you said you couldn't remember.
I believe it was during his assassination attempt.
So last year in 2024. Mr. Slewa, when was the last time you spoke with President Trump?
Oh, many years ago, we were receiving awards. I was praising him for saving the annual Veterans Day Parade. Those were the conversations that I had with him. Can I please respond? I was asked about the Q train.
Okay, real quick.
Mr. Mamdani?
I am the mayor of mass transit. We do not need a Q train. I'm in the subways every day. We have more than a capable system of transporting people.
Thank you, Mr. Sliwa.
The infrastructure needs to be
Thank you,
fixed
Mr.
in the
Sliwa.
system that we have.
Thank you,
Mr. Mamdani, have you
Shut
ever
up,
spoken
sir.
with President Trump?
Thank you.
No.
Okay, there you go.
Thank you. Mr.
Straight
Cuomo,
up, I've
follow-up
never
to
talked to
that. President Trump has spoken positively about you and your candidacy, even as his Justice Department, as we've noted, is reportedly investigating you for allegations you lied to Congress over your COVID record. Given that dynamic, how would you be able to stand up to this White House? How are you not compromised? And just take into account that New Yorkers are troubled by what they view as a compromised relationship the current outgoing mayor has with the president.
Yeah, first, you're wrong when you say there's any investigation of me. That's not true.
Do you have evidence there is no investigation?
I've heard absolutely nothing. Congress did a press
I've
release.
heard
They said they
they're
sent
not
a letter to the
investigating
Department
me.
of Justice, which they do routinely to generate press. And that's
Oh,
what that is.
come on.
Did you know
I
it was
have
fake
been-
news?
I fought Donald Trump. He investigated me repeatedly with the Department of Justice. The Department of Justice Inspector General said
was
that it was
HR.
actually politically motivated. That does not back me up. When I'm fighting for New York, I am not going to stop. And I'll tell you something else. If the Assemblyman is elected
gonna
mayor,
give you
Donald
up.
Trump will take over
We
New
have
York
to-
City,
You
and it
down.
will be Mayor Trump who
We have
runs New York
we
City.
have to move on. Just a very quick follow-up, yes or no. You're saying unequivocally the Justice Department is not investigating you, correct?
I've heard absolutely nothing.
I've heard
yes
No,
or
he's
no,
not saying that.
bitch.
Okay, we'll move on.
He's
David?
not saying that,
Okay,
no.
thank you, Sally.
That is
Okay,
virtually
okay.
impossible, by the way.
That's a
Okay.
dodge.
Mr. Cuomo, you did put out an ad the day after the news first broke in the New York Times that you were under investigation, calling it a political investigation, saying they were coming after you as they had to, after other Democratic politicians. You
I
really
like
denied
these
this
moderators.
The
publicly.
Republican
Yeah.
Congress was. Yes, I believe they play politics with the justice
That's
system.
an
I
investigation,
believe
you
the
fucker.
Republican Congress does it. I believe Donald
Okay.
Trump
It's in
does
your
it. I believe the
ad.
Democrats do it. And that's why I think people are sick and
Thank you,
tired
Mr.
of
Cuomo.
the justice system and the
Turn 'em off.
politics.
If you
Thank you, Mr.
think that
Cuomo.
there's no difference between the Democratic Party and the Republican Party, then that's the candidate for you. If you think it's time to have a Democratic Party that actually stands up to Donald Trump and his billionaire-backed
All right,
assault
thank
on
you.
working people,
Well, first
Thank you,
that's
Mr.
the candidate.
Mamdani. Candidates, we have
You're
to-
not a Democrat,
Candidates,
right?
we
You're
have-
not a Democrat. You're a Democratic
All right,
socialist.
candidates, we have
You didn't
other
vote
ground.
for Kamala Harris, right?
We have
No.
other ground to cover. No, we have other
No,
ground to
that's-
cover.
that's an
will circle back
incendiary
that.
charge. I wanna be very-
You may have a chance to address it, but we do.
I'll be
we have
very
a lot
quick.
of issues to get to with New Yorkers, Mr. Mamdani.
I'll be very quick.
Let me.
You didn't say leave it blank in the Kamala
I'll be very
campaign?
quick. I said leave it blank in the presidential primary because primaries are a place to air dissent. And like
Okay.
many Americans, I was horrified
Okay,
by the
Mr.
Israeli
Mamdani,
genocide
all
of
right.
Palestinians.
Okay.
And if you want to look for me on the ballot, you'll find me as the
Okay,
Democrat.
Mr. Mamdani, thank you. We have to move on. This week,
I
the world
I
is
beat
reacting
your ass in the
to President Trump's Israel
primary,
Hamas
bitch. That's why you're
and
running
the release
independent.
of the hostages. And many are cautiously optimistic about a lasting peace. Of course, the mayor has no direct role in foreign affairs, and we certainly have a lot of questions for you about city matters. But this war has been a major topic in the campaign.
The guy in the middle.
And there are
got a really
criticisms
shitty
about your
tie.
positions in the past and how you envision leading on
barely
these
noticed
issues
that they're
as
in-
mayor. So we have
It's the same-
questions for
almost
all
same
of you,
color as
but
his shirt.
first for Mr. Mamdani, because of something you said that's been generating headlines in the news today as we come into the debate yesterday on Fox News.
Of course, he's not
You
on
were asked if
camera.
Hamas should lay down its weapons, key to the peace plan and ceasefire. And some say they found your answer confusing. You said, quote, I don't really have opinions about the future of Hamas and Israel beyond the question of
I live in
justice,
New York, man.
safety, and the fact that anything has to abide by international law. And that applies to Hamas, and that applies to the Israeli military. So for the voters tuning in tonight, Mr. Mamdani, what do you believe about Hamas and how lasting peace will
What?
be achieved? We know it's a complicated matter, but we'd like to keep the answer to a minute if you could.
It's not my
Of
job.
course, I believe that they should lay down their arms. I'm proud to be one of the first elected officials in the state who called for a ceasefire. And calling for a ceasefire means ceasing fire. That means all parties have to cease fire and put down their weapons. And the reason that we call for that is not only for the end of the genocide, but also an unimpeded access of humanitarian aid. I, like many New Yorkers, am hopeful that this ceasefire will hold. I'm hopeful that it is durable. I'm hopeful that it is just. And for it to be just, we also have to ensure that it addresses the conditions that preceded this, conditions like occupation, like the siege, and apartheid. And that is what I'm hopeful for.
Yeah. If I may, That means
Why are you talking?
Say your name,
I'm being
fucker.
marginalized out of this.
I'm sorry, when he
It's a
goes-
debate of three. Excuse me, Andrew. It's
Well,
a
I'm just
debate
gonna-
of three. Do we acknowledge
ahead.
that? Three people?
Mr. Sliwa, go ahead. And we'll give you a second. Go ahead, Mr. Sliwa.
The President of the United States should have been applauded by you, Zoran Mandami, and you, Andrew Cuomo, on the day that he brought together that international coalition that met in Egypt, that came from the Middle East and the Persian Gulf.
The second
I
one,
certainly
they
applauded
blew-
him
the
for
second one, they
bringing
blew-
peace to Gaza and trying to end
When
the
only Hamas
hostilities
showed
in the
up and they
war
blew it up.
between the Israelis and Hamas, so there can be peace between the Israelis and peace between the Palestinians. But you
gotta
seem,
slip
Zoran, to
right
be
up the rail,
incapable
Viper.
of praising our president.
Okay,
And
very
Andrew,
well.
you were incapable of
Now,
praising
gentlemen,
our president.
gentlemen, we have other-
Give credit where credit
Gentlemen,
is due. He's brought peace to Gaza.
Yeah, gentlemen, we want to hear everything you have to say. We have other questions on the matter. Mr. Cuomo, please, brief response, because
Yes.
we do have other questions
Yes.
on this issue that you may be able to
Yes,
address. Go ahead.
I did applaud President Trump and his administration. I think it was a great accomplishment. I hope the peace holds. The assemblyman will not denounce Hamas. The
Here we
assemblyman
go.
will not denounce Hassan Piker, who said America
Yo,
deserved 9/11.
why are you bringing up
The
Hassan?
assemblyman just said in his response, well, it depends on occupation. That is code, meaning that Israel does not have a right to exist as a Jewish state, which
Oh
he has
my
never
God.
acknowledged.
Here we go with the
That is from the
Zionism.
river to the sea. That's why he won't denounce globalize the Intifada, which means kill all Jews.
Let's give Mr. Mamdani a chance to respond to that.
I want to be very clear. The occupation is a reference to international law and the violation of it,
Hello,
which
read a
Mr.
book.
Cuomo has no regard for since he signed up to be Benjamin Netanyahu's legal defense team
Whoops.
during the course of this genocide.
Whoops.
And I find the comments that Hassan made on 9/11 to be objectionable and reprehensible. And I also think that part of the reason why Democrats are in the situation that we are in, of being a permanent minority in this country, is we are looking only to speak to journalists and streamers and Americans with whom we agree of every single thing that they say. We need to take the case to every person, and I'm happy to do that, which is why I was on Fox News yesterday talking about how I wish it was more like NASCAR, so we could see all the billionaires who are sponsoring you
Mr. Mamdani,
right on your
thank
suit
you.
jacket.
Melissa has
We're going to turn it to Sally, actually.
Yeah, actually, this kind of flows, and then we'll go back to Melissa. Mr. Mamdani, you told NBC's Meet the Press that you don't believe it's the role of the mayor to police speech. Your words about this war have comforted many New Yorkers, but they've troubled others, and I want to ask about some of this. There is your recent refusal, as we just discussed, to condemn the slogan, globalize the Intifada, which many view as a call to arms. In
Lord have
2017,
mercy.
you rapped lyrics praising the Holy Land Five. These are men who were convicted of supporting terrorism. How would you assure New Yorkers, especially Jewish residents who might be concerned about this, that you would be a mayor for all? You have 1 minute to answer this.
Thank you for this opportunity. When I am speaking about the responsibility of leading this city, I mean leading not just those who voted for me, leading not just those who vote, but leading every single person who calls this city home. And that includes Jewish New Yorkers. And I have been so thankful for the opportunity I've had to sit with so many Jewish New Yorkers over the course of the primary and through the general. And it's in those conversations that I learned that this phrase evokes many painful memories. Memories of bus attacks in Haifa, of restaurant attacks in Jerusalem. And I heard from a rabbi about their roommate who was killed on one of those buses. And in hearing that and the distance between that impact and the rationale that some use of saying it, of speaking about the Israeli occupation of Palestinian land, is why I said that I would discourage this language that I do not use. And what I'm looking to do as the first Muslim mayor of this city is to ensure that we bring every New Yorker together. Jewish New Yorkers, Muslim New Yorkers, every single person that calls this city home, that they understand they won't just be protected, but they will belong.
Mr. Sliwa, we will get to you first. I'm going to ask a question of Mr. Cuomo. While you are a strong supporter of Israel, you have also been slow to develop a relationship with the city's Muslim community. You have called Mr. Mamdani a terrorist sympathizer. How do you assure those New Yorkers, especially Muslims and Arabic New Yorkers, that you will be a mayor for all? You'll have 1 minute.
Yeah, well, first, I think the assemblyman created the perception himself. Why wouldn't he condemn Hamas? Why wouldn't he condemn Hassan
his
Piker?
fault.
Why did it take us here tonight for the first time for him to say it? He still won't
no one knows who
denounce
Hassan is
globalize
except
the
me.
Intifada, which means kill all Jews. Just say, I denounce it. He won't do it. That's the issue. And his
Can you
divisiveness
address the question
is
that we're putting to
chronic.
you? I think you've made the point, but can you please answer about your own relationship with the Muslim community? You did not visit mosques for many years. More recently, you have been.
Yeah, I don't think in any way the assemblyman is representative of the Muslim community, which is a vital community in New York City.
He's no real Muslim.
I am very fond of, and I've been working with. I think he's playing his own politics. Many of his positions don't even follow
you hit your button,
the
Mark.
Muslim faith, so I see them as two totally separate things.
I have one friend that's a Muslim.
You know, it took Andrew Cuomo
greatest
being
friends.
beaten by a Muslim candidate in the Democratic primary for him to set foot in a mosque. He had more than 10 years, and he couldn't name a single mosque at the last debate we had that he visited. And what Muslims want in this city is what every community wants and deserves. They want equality, and they want respect. And it took me to get you to even see those Muslims as part of this city. And that, frankly, is something that is shameful and is why so many New Yorkers have lost faith in this politics.
Yeah, except
You know,
that is totally false. I've worked
a-
with the Muslim community for many years.
Name a
I
single
want to
Muslim
play.
Can you name a single mosque you went to in 10
Before you
years?
were ever here. They were
Before
in
I
the-
was here.
Before you were even in state government. I worked with the Muslim community. Imams presided over State of the States. We worked in religious working groups,
couldn't
tolerance
visit a
groups,
mosque.
anti-Semitic groups,
Okay.
etc.
All right, gentlemen. Mr. Sliwa, Rosarita has a specific question for you, but I'll give you a second
Zoran,
here
this,
to weigh in.
this is what disturbs
He
me
said,
about
"Damn
you.
it, I'm coming
You will
in."
be celebrating your birthday this weekend. In 1991, I was in the streets of Crown Heights with the
Here we
Guardian
go.
Angels for 30 days and 30 nights.
Here we go.
When the first Democratic Socialist mayor of New York City, that's right, David Dinkins, was a proud member of the Democratic Socialists of America, abandoned the Jews for 3 days. They were left to their own means. And
Wow,
we protected them
they're gonna
for
gang
30
up
days
on him and
30
call him a
nights.
Jew
Then your
hater.
favorite mayor,
Original.
Bill de Blasio, in 2019, abandoned the Jews again when they were being attacked in Williamsburg, in
Mr.
Borough
Sliwa.
Park, and Crown Heights.
Mr.
And I had
Sliwa,
to
thank
bring
you.
How
the Guardian Angels in for
disgusting.
30 days,
Mr.
30
Sliwa,
nights.
Mr. Sliwa.
Jews don't trust that you
Okay,
are going to
Mr.
be
Sliwa.
there for them
Then
when
why
they are
did they
victims
vote
of
for him in the
anti-Semitic
primary?
attacks.
Okay. Brief response, Mr. Mamdani. We have a specific question for you from Rosarita, but Mr. Mamdani, please.
I agree,
Thank
by
you.
the way.
Of course you do.
One of the
You're both fucking
most
racist.
meaningful experiences I've had over the course of this campaign has been the conversations I've had with Jewish New Yorkers. Jewish New Yorkers who've told me about the door that they've had to lock that they had kept open for 40 years. Jewish New Yorkers who've told me on the M57 about an apartment the speech therapist was trying to sell when a realtor told her, put the Jewish books off the table. Jewish New Yorkers who've told me about their fear in living in this city. And I will be a mayor who finally addresses that, not through the theatrics of the politics on this stage, but through action. I'll do that by ensuring that we have
Mr.
police
Mamdani,
officers
thank you.
outside of
I want to get
synagogues
to
on
a
the high
question.
holy days.
Gentlemen, we have a lot to get to, and we do have a specific question for Mr. Sliwa. Rosarina.
Thank you, David. Mr. Sliwa, you've called
here
for
we go.
tougher policing of pro-Palestinian protests, and you've suggested that Mr. Mamdani uses languages that is anti-Semitic. How do you assure New Yorkers that you'll be the mayor for all?
Well, I've been there for
I don't
all
know.
people in all times for 46 years as leader of
wasn't
the Guardian
expecting a
Angels
question.
here and around the world.
Guardian
Whether
Angels.
it is
Don't
a
claim to fame, is
religious
it?
violation of
literally.
people's rights to worship as they choose in a mosque, in a church, in a synagogue, or a shul, whether it's because
does
of
this a couple
racial
times a
identity.
decade.
Remember, in the summer of 2020, Asians were under constant attack because of the lockdown and pandemic. I don't remember Governor
And I
Cuomo
didn't
coming
do
to their
shit.
aid. You were the governor then. I was out there going into all the neighborhoods, Flushing, Bayside. We were in down in Bensonhurst. We were in Chinatown itself, where Asians were being attacked indiscriminately because they were thought to be carrying COVID.
And you were there,
We protected
huh?
them then. Governor, you were not there for
Convenient.
them.
You're always
De
there where
Blasio
the
was not there
attackers
for them.
are.
We understand hate. And in order to counteract hate, you have to get the community involved along with the police to protect people when they're
Thank
under
you,
siege.
Paul.
Jews are under
Thank
attack
you,
now
Paul.
more than ever before.
Mr.
And I don't
do you
believe
want to
either
answer
of
this?
you have
Yes,
the
please.
capabilities
Thank you,
of
Mr.
protecting.
Sliwa.
And for those of you in the back of the class, Palestinians and Israelis are Semites.
Yep.
Crime law in the United States of America. We tolerate no hatred, no discrimination. We are from every
Unless it's
place
against
on this
me.
globe, and
Unless
we are
it's
proud
you
of
that's
it.
perpetrating
and,
it.
excuse me, we're tolerant and we accept.
Got it.
If you notice, the assemblyman still won't say he believes that Israel has the right to exist as a Jewish state. He is a divisive personality all
What does
across the
that
board.
mean as a
NYPD
Jewish
are racist.
state?
Barack
I
Obama
can
is
answer
evil,
that if you want.
liar,
No,
and he gave
it's
the finger
rhetorical.
to the Christopher
All right.
Columbus
You're
Day.
gonna have
By
to
the
move
way,
on right now.
Disgracia.
your laws with no cash bail
All right,
turn the
Mr.
haters
Stewart,
right
thank
back
you
in the
very
street
much.
Oh
to
my
violate
God.
and attack
Mr.
again and
Stewart,
again and again.
thank you
You're the
very
reason
much.
for that. No cash bail.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Oh
you
my
know what
God.
I'm talking about.
Thank you. Go ahead.
There have been a number of absolutely unfounded lies that have been said by Andrew Cuomo. I would just like a moment to address them directly. I've said time and again that I recognize Israel's right to exist. I've said that I will not recognize any
As a
state's.
Jewish state.
I said that
Shut
I will
the
not.
As a
fuck
Jewish
up.
state.
If I would be allowed to finish,
Okay.
that I would not recognize any state's right to exist with a system of hierarchy on the basis of race, of religion. I have made that very
No
clear. And part of that is because I'm an American
way.
who believes in the importance of equal rights being enshrined in every single country, whether we're speaking about
got a
Israel,
zinger
whether we're
counter at
speaking
the
about
bottom.
Saudi Arabia. You can stand here and you can lie all you want, but
All
New
right.
Yorkers
All
know
right,
the
You
gentlemen,
truth.
answered the question.
We
don't
want,
support
we want
Israel.
to address some issues here.
All right, and we have
Go ahead.
another polarizing issue.
Bro,
that we would love to
Israel's not
discuss
in a
with
fucking
you
boat,
candidates.
bro.
And let's talk about the National Guard.
Yeah, I don't remember
here
that sixth
in the
borough.
city of New York. Now let's go back to Mr. President Donald Trump. One threat
He's in
hanging over the
DC.
city is the deployment of the National
He don't live
Guard
there
troops,
anymore.
like he has done, as you all know, in other cities.
He's a former
the
resident.
NYPD commissioner has rejected the idea as unnecessary, but the president ordered troops to hit the streets of New York. Now, how would you respond? Mr. Sliwa, you have a minute.
There's no need for the National Guard in New York. Kathy Hochul, the
okay.
governor, when we had a crime crisis in
That's
the
how it
subways
works.
that I'm well familiar with, being down there all the time, unlike my
God,
two
dude.
adversaries.
Get out of the
live in the
subway.
subways.
She sent 750
Literally,
National Guardsmen down
You're
to
the person
subways
scaring the
in
people in the
2024.
subway.
That's what I'm saying.
Remember the horrible
He's
case
Gollum.
of Green
He's
and
the
Kowal?
Gollum of the subway.
Does anybody even say her name anymore? That woman who was set on fire by that migrant. As a result of that,
He lost his
the
10
worst
10 millimeter
crime I've ever
socket.
seen committed in the subway system.
Ride every train till he finds
The
it.
governor did the right thing. She sent an
I
additional
think there's worse crimes in the
250
subway
National
system.
Guardsmen, giving us a total of
Sorry, bro.
1,000 National
And I'd
Guardsmen
like to
in the subway
reiterate,
system.
that is
While
an
our mayor, Eric
ugly
Adams, was
crime.
telling us it was all a perception. So
That-
Governor
it's
Hochul has
horrible.
responded. I would tell
And badly
the President
timed,
of the
too.
United States,
I mean, you should
since
have
I'm
nice
familiar
big
with
wide
cities
shot
all
the size
across
of that
America
shirt.
having guardian angels
Not
there.
that tiny
If you
little
were going to
thing.
send the National Guard, you don't need to send them to New York City. There are other cities that could desperately use their help in
Thank
dealing with their crime crisis.
Thank you, Mr. Sliwa. Mr. Mamdani, how would you respond?
You know, I agree with Police Commissioner Tish in that we do not need the National Guard here in New York City. We do not need them for the purpose of safety because if it was safety that President Trump was so concerned about, he would send them to the 8 out of 10 states that have the highest levels of crime in this country, but he won't because they're all run by Republicans. What New Yorkers need is a mayor
Bazinga.
who can stand up to Donald Trump and actually deliver on that safety. When Donald Trump sent ICE agents on people in Los Angeles, Andrew Cuomo said that New Yorkers need not overreact. That is the furthest answer that New Yorkers are looking for. They are looking for someone who will lead, someone who will say that they will have their back, someone who will actually fight for the people of this city. And that's who I am, because I'm not funded by the same donors that gave us Donald Trump's second term, which isn't something that Andrew Cuomo can say.
Mr. Mamdani, Mr.
The first answer in the subways is not more National Guard.
Got
It's
'em.
National Guard in the subways also. It's more NYPD is the answer. But the National Guard is not, he's not sending in the National Guard to do any real function. It's control, it's power. He's trying to say these Democrats don't know how to run these cities, and it's a political gesture by sending in the National Guard. He has said if the assemblyman is elected, he will take over New York. Forget the National Guard.
But this is
he
not the
has said, I'm
question.
going to
The
take
question
the
is,
funds.
if they order the troops to come here, what would
Yes,
you do?
I don't know.
I went through this with him. He sent the National Guard to 20 cities when I was governor. You know what city he didn't send them to? New York. Why? Because I said to him, don't you dare, we don't need it, and he backed down, and he will again.
So that proves a good relationship
Wait a
with the
second.
president.
The president is going to back down to you, Andrew Cuomo. I know you think you're the toughest guy alive, But let me tell you something.
Yeah, that's a zinger.
You
Give him
lost your own primary, right? You
Lee
were
was on the
rejected
board.
by your Democrats.
Why
and you
didn't
have
you
a
send the National
difficult
Guard?
understanding that what the term
All
no
right,
is.
all right.
You're
Thank
not
you.
going to stand up to Donald
Thank you.
Trump.
Thank you.
I agree.
I'll give him a second
You're
point.
not going to stand up to Donald Trump.
Okay.
And
Oh.
he can't stand up to Donald
If Mom
Trump.
Downey
Knock
like
him
gave him
right
a
on
high
his
five
toes.
right
We
there,
have
You
that
to
would have been the
negotiate
best
with him.
moment.
You don't
Okay.
fight with him
Slewa,
because
thank you.
only the people of New York City will lose.
we
yeah.
do have a
Stand up
follow-up.
to negotiate.
This poor lady
I'd
trying
like
to do the
see a show
damn
of hands. Are there
ASL.
any circumstances where any of you would allow the NYPD to cooperate with the National Guard if Trump sent them to New York? Show of hands. Yes? No takers. Okay. Moving on. If history is a guide, National Guard troops in the city could trigger protests. And we have questions for each of you about how you would handle that. So, Mr. Slewa, you have been arrested for protesting migrant housing and for trying to serve Mayor Bill de Blasio with court papers. How would your NYPD handle protests? And would you continue participating in protests as mayor? You have 1 minute.
Well, I have been arrested oftentimes in civil disobedience. That is a great American
public.
right. But demonstrations
Public urination.
have a time and a place. And it used to be before Bill de Blasio, I know he was your
I was about to say
favorite mayor,
urinating on the
Joe
subway.
Montgomery, that you'd have to get a permit. There's a time period you were in a structured area. You get a sound permit. It could be turned around in a day. If there was going to be civil disobedience, you discussed it with the police department. And obviously, you had an opportunity of expressing your anger or your outrage at whatever it was that motivated you to sit down in the street, to block traffic or block an egress. Now we have rampaging groups that go running through the streets, that enter all kinds of facilities and violate other people's rights. And there's no one who's willing to stop it. When I'm the mayor, there are rules and regulations. Everybody has the right to demonstrate. But you can't violate other people's rights, or you yourself must be arrested. And I would remove the face coverings. Remove those face coverings. Why are you afraid of identifying who you are as a demonstrator, unless maybe you're an agent provocateur who's been sent in here to cause
He's
chaos?
literally talking about ICE without
And this
realizing
question goes
he's
to you,
talking
Mr.
about ICE.
Mamdani. You were arrested for blocking traffic in a pro-Palestinian protest, and you participated in a sit-in at Grand Central. Protesters offered blocked streets, bridges, and hubs like Grand Central. How much of that would you allow as mayor, and what's your line in having the NYPD arrest protesters? You have a minute.
Protest is a part of what makes this city's history what it is. It is a part of the First Amendment. We deserve to have a mayor who stands up for that First Amendment, especially as we have a president that's looking to shred it at each and every opportunity. And we will continue to have protests in this city, as we should, no matter who is the mayor. And the line will be on the question of breaking the law. What we have today, however, is an attempt to intimidate so many who are looking to use that freedom of expression to share their opinions about the city and the world around them. And to be frank with you, what New Yorkers are looking for is someone who can show leadership in City Hall. Because when they don't see that leadership, that's when so many take to the streets. And if you had a leader like Andrew Cuomo, who was telling people not to overreact when they see ICE agents abducting girls as young as 6 years old to deport them, many New Yorkers will take to the streets. We deserve to have a leader who will actually be following through on the values of the city. That's the leader that I'll be.
Mr. Mamdani, just a quick follow-up. If you're elected, would you still participate in protests?
No, if I'm elected, I'll be the mayor, and I'll be leading the city from City Hall.
But no participation in protests, right?
The important thing is to lead from City Hall. That's what I'll be doing.
Yeah. If I may respond, because I
talking
believe
about
my name
Slewa.
was invoked.
A very brief response, and then I have a question.
Oh my God.
I dealt with ICE. I stood up with ICE. I had a war with ICE
You
here
stood
in
up
New
with
York
ICE.
when I
You
was
stood
governor.
up with ICE. You right.
And I stood them down, and they moved out. What the
They stood
Assemblyman
up
is
and
saying is
stand by.
he doesn't believe in law and order. He believes in
his
defunding the
left foot
police,
in.
disarming the police, disbanding
his
the
left
foot
police.
out.
That's who he
Mr.
is.
Cuomo, we have to
Abolish
move on.
jails.
Sorry,
Question for you.
Sound it?
15 seconds.
Very
rebuttal,
quick.
just
No, we have to-
Donnie, and
we
then
have
we'll
to-
do just 15 seconds because we have a question for Mr. Cuomo.
Mr. Cuomo
took all
lies
about.
again and again and again. I am not running to defund the police. I am running to actually work with the police to deliver public safety. Andrew Cuomo says that he has stood up to ICE. He has not said a
We're
word
gonna
about the
actually get
abductions
back
that are
to this.
happening right now.
He's referring to a previous comment you made, and we will get back to this. But Mr. Cuomo, a question for for you.
It's a comment he made. Is the operative
I said
language.
that. Yes,
Yeah,
I
know.
understand. I said that. As governor,
Oh,
you
you
put
gonna
the
correct
National Guard
her
on
now.
standby during the George Floyd protests.
Call her
You didn't
toots,
deploy them.
smack her ass.
As mayor, talk about how you would balance the right to protest
My
with
heritage.
maintaining order in the streets.
The right
Sniffer
to
here. Oh,
protest-
wait.
the
Wrong
right to
guy.
protest is
Wrong
a
guy.
sacred
Wrong old
right.
guy.
There is no doubt
Old
about
guy.
that. But the law is the law also. And you have New Yorkers now who are afraid in this city. They're afraid of Donald Trump coming. They're afraid of that anarchy. And they're afraid of the anarchy in this city itself. We have to provide public safety that makes New Yorkers feel safe. Demonstration is one thing. Violating the law is
What the
something
hell was
else.
that?
Blocking public transit is something else. Stopping
Uh-oh,
students
teeth are
from going
slipping.
to class is something else. Harassment, intimidation, that's a hate crime. That's illegal.
Top
Enforce
ones.
the law. Respect the police.
Oh.
They're not racists, as the assemblyman calls them. They're not a threat to public safety, as he
back
says.
in, Grandpa.
They're not anti-queer.
Sliding, bro.
They are here to protect New Yorkers, work with them, fortify them.
You know, that's ironic that you say that now,
I'm sorry,
Andrew
Mr.
Cuomo, because
Yeah.
when you were governor for 8 years, your parole board released 43 cop killers back into the street.
Oh,
your
my
father,
goodness.
when he was
We
governor,
actually have to move on.
released none. I knew Mario Cuomo.
Moving on.
You're no Mario
Since he
Cuomo,
made-
Andrew Cuomo.
Shit.
You
You
better give him a thing on the counter.
You ain't no
Yeah,
daddy,
just
Cuomo.
Briefly
Cuomo.
to
like
the
his second
comments
one,
that
isn't it?
Mr. Cuomo raised
I know
about
your
things
dad.
you've
You
said
ain't your
about
dad.
police. You can do a brief response to that.
I have been clear time and time again that as much as Andrew Cuomo wants to bring up tweets from 2020, which is around the same time that he was sending seniors to their death in nursing homes,
Wow.
I am looking to work with police
Wow.
officers, not to defund the NYPD, looking to ensure that officers can actually do one job when they're signing up to join that department.
But he's
not
okay,
the many
we're out
jobs
of-
we're asking them to
He
do
was
today.
specifically
with the mental
referring to
health
comments
crisis.
you made. We will come back to that, but we're out of
said they
time.
are
This-
wicked
Melissa,
and
we're out.
corrupt
Candidates,
and racist.
we're moving
That's
on.
what you
Thank
said.
you.
Where's
Your
the lie?
Words, your words.
We're moving on. Thank you.
Where's the lie?
Despite
the
record
lie?
low crime numbers, polls show that crime remains a top concern for New York City voters. The three of you have very different approaches to crime fighting and how to manage the NYPD.
Slee was gonna
we want to get
gonna
into your
bury.
plans. So we'll start with this question. It's a two-part question, but it's short. How will
Put
you make the city
100 cops
safer?
in all the
And how will
subway
you
cars.
change the NYPD? You'll have 1 minute. We begin with Mr. Cuomo.
They'll be slower, but it'll be
I
worth
would add
it.
5,000. Well, let's take a step back. Remember what happened. The far left, the socialists said defund the police, defund the police. They took $1 billion out of the police. The NYPD is now down at one of the lowest levels in modern political history.
Put in your votes
I
now.
would add 5,000 police, put 1,500 in the subways, raise the starting salary because you can't hire
Where's
them.
that money coming
You
from?
can't even fill a class right now.
Taxes.
Where's that
And
money
you
come
have
from?
to add additional
Yeah,
police
where's that money come
officers
from?
because the attrition rate is so high.
They're not going to raise taxes, so they're going to cut
Part of
from
that is going
somebody.
to be saying to the NYPD, I
Who's missing out for
respect
that?
you. I don't think you're wicked, as the assemblyman said. I don't think you're corrupt. I don't think you're racist. I value you. I will have your back. I'll be a mayor to work with you.
They got to pay rent.
That's how you're going to get the police to apply
Call
for
me an
the
asshole.
jobs.
Let my rent go
And
down.
then we have to work on the relationship between the community and the police.
This
The
is
police
amazing.
can't police the community. They have to
Thank you,
police
Mr. Cuomo.
with the
You're
community.
up next, Mr. Sliwa.
What an idiot.
This is amazing. I'm standing here with my two adversaries, both of whom have threatened to defund the police. You, Andrew Cuomo, during the summer of 2020, you said, if you don't reform police departments, I'm going to defund you. And you certainly said that, Zoran Mandami. We need 7,000 police. We only have 32,500. The problem in recruiting police, which neither of you are addressing,
Thanks for telling
is
us.
that their insurance was stripped from them. The state, you did nothing when you were governor, and here in the city, 2021, the city council and Eric Adams did nothing. They don't have qualified immunity, which you've benefited from, Andrew Cuomo, with the 13 lawsuits filed against you for sexual harassment. Tom
Damn,
DiNapoli
they're
says
going
we're
after
paying
him.
out $60 million. Why? Because you had your qualified immunity as governor, and yet people have stood by
Quick
as
response,
police
Mr.
have
Cuomo.
lost their insurance that all civil servants have.
Wow.
That's why you can't
He's
get
making up
recruits
ground,
in,
dude.
because they're not insured. I will return their qualified immunity
Cuomo, quick
because they
response,
need to be
please.
protected like other
Yeah.
civil
Guys,
servants.
That is not
pisses
New
me
York
off,
State.
man.
It's New York City on the qualified insurance, qualified immunity. It's not insurance at all.
You are entitled to
It's
free
qual-
legal
it's-
counsel, which is what he's referring to.
Yes.
You have spent
Yes, but it's New York City that has revoked qualified immunity. It's not insurance.
Oh, boy.
It's qualified immunity. It's nothing to do with insurance.
Well, that protected you in all these lawsuits.
And yes, the lawsuits, because there was a report filed. I said it was political. It turned out to be political, and that's why
All
you had
13
legal
women
fees.
were lying?
Just say-
Come on, Andrew. All 13 women were lying?
After 5 years.
Some
A
of the
state
cases
trooper,
have
too?
still
Yeah,
been
after
open
5
and
years,
remain
5
open.
EAs, 5 years of
I'm going to move
litigation,
on
I
to
was
Mr.
dropped from the
Mamdani.
case.
Mr. Mamdani, how will
Breathe
you
once
make?
in a while.
But not
Okay,
the city
Mr.
who
Mamdani,
settled.
how will you make the city safer, and how will you change the NYPD?
Thank you. This is the concern for so many New Yorkers, and I'm proud to have a comprehensive plan to bring new ideas to this city. If you want more of the same, vote for Andrew Cuomo. If you want an actual approach to lower crime, look at our Department of Community Safety. That is something that has been hailed by experts as addressing so many of the pieces of why New Yorkers are not feeling safe today. We will ensure that no longer are police officers asked to do the job of both policing and responding to the mental health crisis. We will have dedicated teams of mental health outreach workers in the top 100 subway stations with the highest levels of the mental health crisis and homelessness. We will ensure that cops can finally go back to the response times they used to have in 2020, closer to 11 minutes, as opposed to the closer to 16 minutes today, because they won't be asked to respond to the 200,000 mental health calls that are coming in through 911 every year. This is evidence-based. It's been successful elsewhere in the country. It's time we deliver it right here in New York City. It's time for a change.
Thank you, Mr. Mamdani.
Zora Mamdani, we already had it. It was called the Homeless Outreach
I'm
Unit
sorry, this
of
is not
cops
free
and
for all. We
mental
have
health
another
care
question for
officials.
Mr.
And Bill
Mamdani.
de Blasio funded them by
Mr.
taking
Sliwa.
$1 billion
Come on, bro.
out of the budget.
Turn his
Thank you.
mic off.
Excuse me, Mr. Mamdani, we're going to talk about disciplining police officers. The civilian watchdog that investigates police misconduct regularly recommends discipline for cops accused of wrongdoing, but the police commissioner often overrides them. You want to change that policy so that the board has final say. Please explain to viewers in 30 seconds why you believe the police commissioner should no longer have that final say.
What I've said is that I think it's time to remove much of the politics out of the question of accountability. We have the Civilian Complaint Review Board, which, as you said, studies, assesses, and investigates into complaints of abuse and the violation of the law. And oftentimes, those recommendations are then subject to political pressures and not followed through on. I think New Yorkers deserve a system where they know it won't then be assessed once again, that there's actually more to the recommendation in the investigation that's being done by the CCRB.
Okay, we're wrapping up. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mamdani. Mr. Cuomo, do you believe changes are needed for how officers are disciplined? And are there any powers that you would give up as mayor? You have 30 seconds.
Yeah, I would not remove the police commissioner from the CCRB. I'd leave it with the police commissioner. I think Commissioner Tisch is doing a very good job. I would trust her. The difference between me and the assemblyman is he doesn't like the police. That's why he won't hire more police when everyone else says we need more police. He wants to use social workers on domestic violence calls, which are very dangerous.
It's been proven to work.
And he's told you what he thinks. He thinks the police are racist, wicked, corrupt, and a threat to public safety.
Thank you.
Those are his words.
Very quick. Mr. Mamdani, very quick.
Look, Andrew Cuomo is a politician of the past, and all he can speak about are the tweets of the past in 2020. Those are tweets which I have apologized for to New Yorkers and police officers directly, and they are not what I am actually running on.
No,
but you're
you haven't.
incapable
But quickly,
of actually
Mr.
speaking about the platform that we have
Mr.
here,
Mamdani,
which is
can
one
we
that will
just-
keep New Yorkers safe.
Can we just quickly ask you, because I think what some people feel they haven't heard from you, we hear you saying that you don't believe that anymore and you've apologized. People have not heard you sort of describe the evolution of your thought, how you got from there to here.
You know, growing up in this city, I would think often about safety and justice and the ways in which that relationship has been irrevocably harmed. When I learned about the exonerated five, when I learned about Sean Bell, when I learned about Eric Garner, when I learned about Michael Brown. And then in 2020, when I wrote these tweets, learning about the death of George Floyd. And that was a moment where it felt as if the distance between these two ideals had never been further. And in becoming an assembly member and serving and representing more than 100,000 people in Queens, learning that to deliver justice means to also deliver safety. And that means leading a city where you recognize the bravery of the men and women who joined the NYPD and put their lives on the line. It means representing the Muslims who were illegally surveilled in my district and the black and brown New Yorkers who've been victims of police brutality.
So Mr. Sliwa, you've been out there, you've been on the trains, and would like to know if you believe changes are needed of how officers
You
are
live on the
disciplined.
train.
You live on the subway.
Zoran,
See
what
you on
you've
the
suggested.
Zoran.
Snakes on a plane.
Excuse me. Let me just suggest what
Yeah,
you
say
have
my name,
proposed with this new police outreach unit will endanger women and children in domestic violence situations. I know I've been involved in so many of them with the Guardian Angels. They will be killed. They will be maimed. Number two, in dealing with emotionally disturbed persons that I have dealt with for all my years as the Guardian Angels, you need trained professional police officers. Yes, you can have mental health workers with them.
Thank you, Mr.
But that has been suggested. It was done before by the homeless outreach unit. And the guy you thought was the best mayor, Bill de Blasio, disbanded
Mr. Sliwa, thank you. Brief response?
To be very clear, the Department of Community Safety is not about responding to calls of domestic violence. We are speaking about mental health crisis and the homelessness crisis. These are the focuses of the work that they will do.
All right. We have other questions for that a little later in the debate, but we want to just change the pace a little bit, candidates, switching gears to the high cost of living in New York City. To kick us off, we have a few quick pocketbook questions that New Yorkers wrestle with daily. So we want to know how much you spend a week on groceries. We'll begin with you, Mr. Cuomo.
Groceries? What?
Depends how many times
person
my
for that.
daughters come over, but probably about $150.
Okay. Mr. Sliwa?
Oh, I'd say about
One steak.
$175 with a gallon of milk, now $5 and always rising up. Loaf of bread. Simple loaf of bread that used to be 99 cents. It's like $3 now.
Motherfucker.
The price is too.
Mr.
It's
Sliwa,
too
thank you.
costly.
It's a brief answer. Thank you. Mr. Mamdani.
Yeah, I actually agree with Curtis on that. It is too costly. Now that eggs are down to less than $4, though, my average spend every week is about $125, $150.
All right. Do you carry credit card debt or do you pay it off every month? Mr. Mamdani?
I pay it off every month.
Mr. Cuomo?
Paid off.
Mr. Sliwa?
I don't have a credit
rich.
card. I have a debit card.
And for the record,
got
what is
silver
your monthly
bars.
rent or mortgage, Mr. Sliwa?
Credit's bad.
About $3,900. It's not subsidized there, so.
Mr. Mamdani, what is your monthly rent or mortgage?
$2,300.
Mr. Cuomo?
He has a rent-stabilized apartment that a poor person's supposed to have. Mine is about $7,800.
We're gonna cover that. Side.
Yes, a whole building.
Thank you. We're going to talk a little bit more about the runaway rent in this city.
What did he say?
Mr. Mamdani, you're pledging to freeze rent for nearly 1 million rent-stabilized
rent-stabilized.
apartments. That really affects less than half of all rentals in the city. What is your plan for those who aren't in stabilized apartments but are struggling to pay the rent? What are you going to do for them?
Well, I'm proud to say that I, yes, will freeze the rent for more than 2 million rent-stabilized tenants, and I will also build 200,000 truly affordable homes across the 5 boroughs over the next 10 years to ensure that tenants, whether rent-stabilized or market rate, can actually have more housing such that they are not being priced out of this city. And finally, I'm also going to make it easier for the private sector to build housing in this city, because what we see today is that it's not labor, it's not materials, it's the weight that is often costing so much to actually build the housing we need in this city.
Well,
Thank you. And a follow-up
I
for you,
did
Mr.
this.
Mamdani. The cost
Why
of
can't
maintaining
you?
a building change year to year for landlords. The Rent Guidelines Board is legally required to consider those costs when deciding whether to freeze rents. So how can you promise a rent freeze today before ever seeing that data next year?
You know, we've seen the data time and again. It's
But next
data
year's data.
It's been data that's been overruled by mayors again and again. The last Rent Guidelines Board study showed that profits were up 12% for landlords of those units. And what did they do? They raised the rent, adding to more than 12% under Eric Adams' administration. What I am speaking about is actually reflecting the needs of these New Yorkers and the state of the market today. These are New Yorkers who have a median household income of $60,000. We do not need to be pushing them further out of the city. We need to keep them in their homes.
Aren't you saying in that answer that you are going to prejudge? You will not have seen the data for next year, and you're making a determination based on data you haven't seen?
I've seen the data year after year of the fact that salaries are stagnating, costs are up, New Yorkers can't actually afford their apartments. And I will also take action to actually ensure that the landlords of those buildings can better handle their costs by taking on their insurance, their property taxes, and their water bills.
And you haven't seen next year's data yet.
Cuomo, I do have a question for you on this subject. You have proposed something that you're calling Zoran's Law.
housing.
You think that Mr.
If
Mamdani
you make
earns
60
too much
grand,
to
you
live in
couldn't
his
afford to
rent-stabilized
qualify for that
apartment, though I
place.
should note
They
that
wouldn't
there are
take you.
no income tests for rent-stabilized apartments.
You
But
gotta have
critics
3
say your
times the rent.
plan would force
And by the way,
people
when
to
they
pay
can't
too
afford their
much
shit
of their
there,
income
they move
towards
to
the
my
rent.
state.
So if you think Mr. Mamdani is gaming
drive
the
up our
system, what
rents.
about the other New Yorkers,
Yes.
thousands
And
of them
Tim
just
doesn't
like
want
him,
their
who earn
kind
similar
around
salaries, who
there.
are
We
living
don't need
in
your kind around here in New
similar
York.
apartments? What
Okay,
would-
just to follow up
Big
on what
apple
Sally was saying,
bitches.
because she's right. This is not a new
Apple
plan
hoes.
that the Assemblyman is talking about. It's Bill de Blasio's plan. It was called Freeze the Rent. Bill de Blasio says the mayor can't say legally he's going to freeze the rent. There's a rent guidelines board. There are certain considerations that have to be looked at. You're right, Sally. You can't say today what it's going to be in 4 years. Also, freeze the rent only postpones the rent, because then you have to have an increase to cover the costs. Otherwise, the building is going to go bankrupt. And it does nothing for the majority
That's
of renters
bullshit.
who aren't
Your
in
buildings
these
are paid
rent-stabilized
for,
units.
dude.
There's nothing
Yeah.
for NYCHA. There's nothing for
is he lying or is he
homeowners. There's
stupid?
nothing for
Put
people
in
in
your
Black
votes
brown
now.
communities who are getting priced out. I was the HUD secretary. I built affordable housing all across this nation. I built affordable housing in this city when I was in my 20s. I know how to get it done. I will get it done on the rent stabilized units. What I'm saying is those are the precious units, and we
You're out
should
of time. I'm sorry,
we should
Mr.
keep
Cuomo.
them for
We didn't
the
get an answer
most
to the
rent
question, but we
burden.
have to move on.
But I have a
See,
question for
that's
you.
the sacrifice he's
He
willing to
invoked me for
make
much
that
of
we
that
won't
question. Just
do.
a very brief
Yeah.
response
Please,
here.
very brief.
He's
You know,
willing to
you've heard it from
degrade
Andrew Cuomo,
himself
that the
to
number
this
one crisis
level.
in this city, the housing crisis, the answer is to evict my wife and I.
not
He
always
thinks you
pretty.
address this crisis by unleashing my landlord's ability to raise my rent. If you think that the problem in this city is that my rent is too low, vote for him. If you know the problem in this city is that your rent is too high, vote for me.
If I understand it
Sons
correctly,
of
Mr.
millionaires
Cuomo, your
need
program,
subsidized
Zoran's law
housing.
would not evict Mr. Mamdani.
It would not
correct?
evict him.
It would
No, he
apply to
just-
people applying for apartments.
he's
But the
making
tenant
it up.
but the
He
tenant
made it up.
advocates.
It would evict
All right,
no
guys.
one.
This
It would
does
be
not
an
affect
income
We
limitation
have to move
on
on. I
rappers.
have a
Mr.
question
Sliwa.
for Mrs.
This is
Sliwa.
like
Rosarina-
a spat in the schoolyard. Let me
No,
suggest.
Mrs.
Can I
Sliwa,
please
Rosarina
ask
has
the
a
question?
specific question for you on this.
Yeah, well, I
We
wanted
wanna
to
hear it.
talk about affordability.
Well, you can
and
use it.
obviously
I wanted to
that's
talk
what
about
that
it.
is.
So you've proposed, Mr. Sliwa, plans that would made a point of talking about the
think
struggle
Sliwa's
of
at
renters
7%.
and property owners. Describe your plan
Maybe
to
10
help renters
in a
and
generous
lenders.
bubble.
Well, first off, we have 6,000 available apartments that a mayor controls in NYCHA, and they've been empty for years. That you address, number one. Then we talk about
New
senior
York,
citizens who are living here. My
an
whole
acronym.
goal is to improve
Yeah.
and not to move. I'm concerned about the seniors, especially those that own homes. If they're 65 and make less than $250,000, no property tax, because the property tax is way too high. We need to cut it in half to keep people who are here. And then in terms of
And you
rentals,
want how many
we
new
have
cops?
affordable housing that can be
Right.
built in these huge skyscrapers. You see them all throughout Manhattan and in northern Brooklyn and in Long Island City, which we have 25 Empire State Buildings full of commercial space that will never be occupied for office space. We should be converting them into affordable apartments that are in dense areas.
Just
the infrastructure
just
can
live in a
support it.
warehouse.
I'm
I'll
the
give you a
only
cot.
candidate here who's against
Okay,
the
Mr.
city of
Sliwa,
yes
thank you.
that would
Mr.
destroy
Sliwa.
residential.
You're out in
I
the
have to interrupt
rain.
you because we have a programming moment right now. We're about halfway through the mayoral debate. Channel 4 and Telemundo 47 will return to regular programming, but we got a lot to get to, and you can continue watching live on NBC.
All right, quick 5-minute break. Hi, everyone.
How you doing?
We can see you. Oh, and I
Welcome.
want to say something real quick.
Tim's late.
I was
Tim's
late.
late.
I was at a
Tim's late.
meeting.
I just want to say something real quick. I don't know if you guys saw the end of the headliners, but it got a little spicy. Let me just give credit where credit is due. You can tell when motherfuckers ride with you. Didn't have to say shit to K. K said, let me get over here on this Twitch and straighten this little motherfucker out. That's the kind of white folks I'm talking about. My light Boricuas. That's what I'm talking about. Where they at? Where they at?
Hola.
Show
Kay
me
was
where
like-
the motherfucker at.
Let me go to Twitch, and then he berated that guy.
What happened?
K fucked him up.
Yeah,
I don't know. I
it
wasn't
was
there.
funny. We had a
the fuck
troll on
happened?
Twitch.
Oh.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
And the K signal went out. There was an onion in the sky, and K
Yeah.
went and took care of biz.
Yeah, K fucks shit up, man.
There you go.
Appreciate you.
Amen.
See, that's what I'm talking about. I ain't have to say nothing. I don't have to defend myself. If one of your friends is getting insulted, they shouldn't have to defend themselves when you're standing there.
They was telling Mikey that Mikey didn't know what racism was.
And then they kept doubling down.
You are just too privileged, Mikey.
Yeah, it's true. It's so true.
It started out, we were talking about America's having a labor shortage because of all the people being deported and whatnot and scared to like show up for work. And this dude was like, oh yeah, but labor shortage is good. It makes wages go up. Well, not necessarily. That's not how economics works.
What if the business can't afford it?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
And then I don't know how he got onto racism, but dude was like, define racism. And then Mikey was like, no, you define racism. He gave us a bad definition. We corrected it.
Yeah.
And then he was like, that's not what it is.
Racism is treating everybody as a monolith.
That's what he said. Everyone is a monolith.
That's called being prejudiced.
People are not a monolith.
And if I'm 6% of the population of a country and everybody kind of look the same and all the racists are hidden amongst us, yeah, I'm gonna just be skeptical until I'm given another reason to believe otherwise.
Mikey said most white people are racist. That's what
Which is fucking factual. Like, I don't know why he over here defending it.
Well, I would actually argue everyone's racist.
Here we go.
To a degree.
We all have implicit and explicit biases.
Yeah.
Yes. Unconscious biases.
If you can rise above that and learn new things for yourself, we'll all live in a better world. Then we have those fucks.
They ain't got to learn shit. Just watch your fucking mouth. Jerome in the house, watch your mouth.
But now with Trump in office, now they know they don't have to watch their mouths.
Exactly.
Right. Well, hey,
at least for now.
Problem.
Trump's the only one that's got immunity. So do what you will with that information. It's a free country. Let me grab that video you were talking about, Mark.
So props to Kay for fighting the good fight.
Shout out.
So the government's still shut down, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I got to get on an airplane in like 5 days. I don't know how that's going to go.
Yeah.
Tim going to be walking.
Bye, Tim. We've enjoyed you as our friend.
And the house is still on vacation because they don't want to swear that one person in, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they're not meeting. Yeah. They're not meeting. The Senate meets every day to vote no.
You did two of them. Oh, that Cuomo one?
The one that his protest got disrupted.
All right, let's see.
Something without consent, but this time it's at a school.
That you're going to represent the working class because you take money from the Walmart family?
You're not sharing.
Oh, shit, my bad.
Yeah, it's on
if you are an oil exec, you want to talk about the 13 sexual harassment?
Let's skip around.
You want to talk about how you stopped climate legislation? You want to talk about the 13 sexual harassment?
Hey, yo. If you're gonna have a lady whose whole job is to block cameras with the sign, you got to pick somebody over like 5'5". Like,
you got to get
she's got to be taller than 5'2".
She holding the sign up and it's not at the dude's head. You gotta get a big one for that. Call him. Look at him. Here come the fake Cuomo.
The joke has only begun.
You're making everyone here feel uncomfortable.
I am Cuomo. I know I make people feel uncomfortable.
Wow.
Entire brand. That is my brand.
Don't approach our supporters here. Don't approach our supporters.
They're my supporters.
All 14 of them.
He is the fear candidate. He's an opportunist. When has he shown up for
Hey, yo, that's First Amendment, bro. Get out the way.
Yeah.
This is a rally for him, by the way.
Ain't nobody there.
My own supporters betray me in front of everyone. My very own supporters. They all betray me.
Oh, Dutch in the chat.
We'll see who the real ones
We got a little bit
are.
longer.
Time no see.
Yeah, Dutch, we're watching the debate. We got probably like another hour.
This is our response to what is happening in our country.
We're taking a little brain break.
I am Cuomo.
These are my supporters.
These are my supporters. I'm Cuomo.
They betrayed me.
I'm walking here.
While our planet
is collapsing. Our planet and country are collapsing. This is the email from the Department of Education saying they don't have permission to be in front of the school or inside the school.
Hilarious.
Homosexual.
You can Google it.
Sexual. Oh my.
Oh boy.
I am
global. I hope Mondani sees this and hits him with that line.
That's funny.
It made me happy.
That would be funny.
Okay. I'm Andrew Cuomo.
Whoa.
In New York, Telemundo 47 streaming and digital platforms, Telexitos, Politico.com, and
Too much
YouTube.
shit on my desk.
Stay with us. A lot to discuss.
I mean, a taco salad. Ooh. I got a full dinner plate up here and like 6 bottles of water. I'm like, this is not.
Are you having a taco bowl from Trump Plaza? Oh my God!
Gentlemen,
I fucked this
gentlemen,
thing
thank
up,
you.
dude.
That
I'm
was kind
so
of a natural
full.
point for us to transition, and we want to
make
talk
the best
now
taco bowl
about transportation and getting around town. And we have a few quick questions about how you get around
there's
town.
4
Show of
people.
hands, even though they're in their waning days, who has a Metro card or maybe
That's
uses
too
OmniPay?
many moderators.
Uses OmniPay?
Yeah, OmniPay, yeah. Metro card. I mean, I have one, but I know I'm hanging on to the last
So
moment.
you're on the subways, Mr. Sliwa. What do you use? I'm just curious. If
You never leave the subway,
I got a
Mr.
whole
Sliwa.
batch. I'm in the subways, I'm in the buses, and
All right.
the
I didn't hear what
express
he
buses.
said.
The only fact I got a whole batch.
Okay. Subways, Mr. Sliwa. What do you use? I'm just
I
curious.
drive a
If you-
truck.
Omnicard. In fact, I got a whole
Shut the
You're on
fuck
the
up,
subways,
Mark.
Mr. Sliwa. What do you use? I'm just curious.
Omnicard.
If you don't.
Omnicard. In fact, I got a
Thank
whole
you.
batch.
Okay.
I'm
I
in the
rewound it so I
subways,
could
I'm
hear
in
him
the
again. You did the
buses,
joke
I'm
at the
in the
same
express buses.
spot.
The only candidate
Thank
who
you.
rides mass transit every day.
When you need to get somewhere
Mom
fast
Donnie
and you
rides
can't
mass
take the
transit.
train, do you hail a taxi? Do you use rideshare? Mr. Sliwa, what do you do?
I try to avoid yellow cabs. As you know, I was shot in the back of a yellow cab in 1992 by the Gottis and Gambinos. But I'd find my way around. If I
That's
have
something
to,
you want to put on
I
TV?
Uber if I can't get there by mass transit.
What do you
Yeah.
do, Mr. Ramdani, if you can't take the train?
I would either
Don't take a yellow cab
or
and get
ride a
shot by
bike.
the mob.
Mr. Cuomo?
I will take a cab, Uber.
Okay.
Have my
All right,
personal
thanks,
driver
Sal.
take me.
Thank
Yeah,
you,
I
David.
have a driver.
Yeah, that's
let's talk
more
about
likely.
free buses. Mr. Mamdani, this is a centerpiece of your campaign.
Free buses.
Can you explain how you will make buses free? You have 30 seconds to answer.
Absolutely. We will make buses free by replacing the revenue that the MTA currently gets from buses. This is revenue that's around $700 million or so. That's less money than Andrew Cuomo gave to Elon Musk in $959 million in tax credits when he was the governor. And the reason that
That's,
we will do so
that might
is
be
that
his
making
thing.
buses free doesn't just provide economic relief, but also public safety. Because what we've seen is that it decreases assaults on bus drivers by 38.9%. New Yorkers deserve more than the slowest buses in the country. I know that because I was on the M57 not too long ago, and its average speed is 4.9 miles
We're at
an
time,
hour.
though, but the question is how you
That
make
is
them free.
We
barely
will
faster
fund
than a
the
walk.
revenue that would have otherwise been brought in from fares. And that's something that we would do in partnership with Albany. And I've
How?
put forward 2 proposals. The first is to raise taxes on the top 1% of New Yorkers by 2%. That would raise $4 billion. The second is to raise the state's top corporate tax rate to match that of New Jersey, which would raise $5 billion.
We're going to move along, but I just want to point
What
out
is
to
New York
viewers that
City's
Governor
tax
Hochul
rate?
has opposed raising
Yeah,
the
if you
income
match
tax.
Jersey, there's no incentive
Melissa,
for them
we'll
to
move on to
leave.
your
It's the
question.
same.
Could I address that on the
Yeah.
buses?
I'm
Because
coming to you
half
next.
the people don't
Might
pay
as well.
their bus fare to begin with, Zorhan. And so it's
Curtis, Zoran.
It's a complete disaster.
Yeah, say
if
it
you
right,
have
bitch.
free bus fare, and the Citizens Budget Commission said just last year, 2024, $1 billion of fare evasion in all different forms. This MTA system will collapse. There's not enough money out there to make up for fare evasion. Pay your fare. If you don't pay your fare, they have fare programs for the poor and the indigent. But
There's not
everybody should be
$700
forced to pay
million
their
in
fare.
New York.
Mr. Cuomo, you had both praise and
you
some
stupid?
criticism from Mr. Mamdani's free bus pilots.
Mikey, is
You're
this
sort of in
plausible?
the middle on this issue. What's your
Quickly though.
Just real quick. The city income tax rate for people who make over $50,000 is 4%.
Oh
That is
no.
the top, that's the top tax rate. So 6% instead of 4%.
No. What am I gonna do, Tim? My mansion.
plan to make subways and
I
buses more affordable?
think
30
free
seconds.
buses is a mistake. It costs about $700 million. Just to give you an idea that We only raise about 500 from congestion pricing. It's been done before in other cities. It was a disaster. They stopped. They basically became mobile homeless gathering places. What I say is free buses for working families who can't afford it and free subways for working families. But don't subsidize rich people on a bus. And
I thought there was only
it's been tried and it's failed.
Mr. Mamdani, can you just respond quickly on the point about the mobile homeless gathering places?
You know, this is something that we heard when we were fighting to make buses free in Albany when we delivered the first fare-free bus lines in New York City history. And what we saw is when we made one bus route free in each borough of New York City, there was no increase in homelessness on those buses. There was no increase in fare evasion in the surrounding area. What there was an increase in ridership of up to 38%.
Thank you, Mr. Mamdani.
Candidates, maybe we can dig deeper on this and get a sense of how all of you would pay for your big ideas. Mr. Mamdani, we'll start with you. We've obviously been talking about free buses, free childcare, city-run grocery stores. So essentially, you're proposing about $10 billion in new spending. And as you've indicated, you want to pay for it with tax increases. But as Sally pointed out, Governor Hochul said no to raising income tax on millionaires. So tell New Yorkers tonight how you're going to pay for all of this in 1 minute, if you can.
Look, a lot of people have called even my campaign a non-starter when we first began. And now I stand before you proud to be the Democratic nominee who got the most votes in city primary history.
Whoops.
And I believe we will see the same thing with our push to ensure that we are taxing the wealthiest and the most profitable corporations the fair amount that they should pay. Now, there are those who will say that because it will be hard, you should give up. We saw what giving up looked like when Andrew Cuomo was the governor. He gave up on fighting for working-class New Yorkers and instead caved in to his billionaire donors. And what did we get? We have the fastest and most frequent helicopter service to the Hamptons, and we have the slowest and more expensive bus service across the 5 boroughs.
Damn.
I know Governor Hochul indicated this week there may be some open windows, but more or less income tax on millionaires is off the table.
Yeah, open a window. It's smoky in this bitch.
I've said very clearly, making buses fast and free costs about $700 million a year. Making universal child care a reality costs about $5 or $6 billion a year. If you raise the state's top corporate tax rate to match that of New Jersey, you'd be raising $5 billion in and of itself.
I have a couple of follow-ups. Mr. Sliver, you're next, but I have a couple of follow-ups.
I would just add one additional thing. We have also put forward a plan to save money here in New York City with $1 billion in savings through procurement reform, through following the independent budget office's assessment about hiring more fiscal auditors, and in actually collecting the fines and fees from bad landlords across the city.
Just a quick couple of follow-ups. If you could find some of the funding, but not all of it, which of your priorities would come first? What would be the first among equals that you would try to get done?
Well, freezing the rent doesn't require any fiscal infusion, so that will be something we'll be pursuing immediately. And universal childcare, after housing, is the second cost. Childcare is the second cost pushing New Yorkers out of this city. $22,500 a year is the estimate.
Jesus.
That will be a priority for us.
And I just want to know if you could get the money and funding elsewhere, would you drop the call for the tax increase?
Absolutely. The most important thing is funding these agenda items. I think these are the two most important and straightforward, direct ways to do so. But if the money comes from elsewhere, the most important thing is funding.
Melissa has a question for Mr. Sliwa.
Mr. Sliwa, you've been talking about cutting taxes and spending. So what is your plan, and how would you pay for your programs like 7,000 more cops?
Well, Zoran, boy, your fantasies are never going to come about in terms of funding everything you want that's going to be free, free, free. It's a fantasy. Let's deal with the reality. 7,000 cops. You already have a plan.
I just did a little math with the 27 grand and the 22 grand. So we're at like $47,000 spent, and the people haven't eaten yet. They haven't paid any electricity or gas or any of that. Like
daycare.
Yeah. No. That's with the childcare and the rent at a $2,300 place, which is not where you're going to get everywhere.
In Boston, where you pay for taxes in the future. This is a great plan in which universities and others who have bought up properties that are now taken from the real estate market and taken from property tax pay. We could raise $1 billion from Columbia University, NYU, that are in the real estate business, and Madison Square Garden, your friends, Andrew Cuomo, Jimmy Dolan, who pays no property taxes. That's how you raise $1 billion to get 700 police officers trained, vetted, and out into the streets in the 5 boroughs. And then the police will be on the subways, and they will be patrolling the old-fashioned way where they're needed, going up and down the moving subway cars, where people want to see the visual protection, especially women who are being assaulted, perved, and like we saw this morning on 86th Street, a woman with a gun to her head, an armed robbery because we don't have enough cops.
I have a question for you in this topic, and
Do you want to
let's
protect
talk about history because as governor, you raised and cut taxes. Now you're proposing some tax relief. What's the price tag for your proposals, and where will you get the money for example, 5,000 new police officers? You have a minute to answer.
I think Sally's question was very well taken. The Assemblyman's whole plan is based on a myth. He's going to raise taxes. Albany's going to raise taxes.
What is your plan?
Statewide on corporations, but the money's only going to go to New York City. That could never happen. It's not just that the governor wouldn't support it. It's impossible. He said he's going to raise the taxes the same as New Jersey, corporate tax. No, it would be double the tax. You would see New Yorkers on 995 fleeing to Florida. We would be alone.
They already did that.
Like Trump did?
You have to be realistic with revenue. You have a $115 billion budget. You have to go through that city budget and find savings. I started Tesla, which is double the budget of the city, at a $10 billion deficit. I closed it and added services. And we can do the same with New York City.
Governor, as mayor, you would not increase spending in the New York City budget? Yes or no?
There would be, whatever additional spending would be revenue neutral.
So
it's impossible. You got to cut taxes.
It doesn't make sense, Cuomo.
Thank you.
The corporations are not going to stay here. They're being lured south to cities that are more corporate friendly. You got to cut the property tax, income tax for those who are 19 to 28 who have skill levels if they go to school here.
Thank you, Mr. Sliwa.
Andrew Cuomo thinks it's all right to spend $60 million to fund his legal defense from accusations of more than a dozen women of sexual harassment. But if I say we should spend the same amount of money on delivering cheaper groceries in this city through a pilot program, that is unfathomable.
Quick, David, I have a right to respond to that.
Yes, quickly.
First, I did not bring those lawsuits. That was brought by the Attorney General, which I said was political.
Well, those
That's what generated
by
the
individual
legal fees.
women, and some of them have still been making their way through the courts this year and
yes,
now.
and I've been dropped from the cases.
Not all of them.
Yeah, and the all this money that he wants
for
to
the
pass,
commentators.
The one thing he did do is he voted for a pay raise for himself. They're the highest paid legislator in the United States.
I did ask the state controller's office
record.
this week. I did ask the state controller's office this week. The total was above $60 million, but just those sexual harassment cases to defend Governor Cuomo and his staff was about $21
Sorry, it was the
million
sexual harassment and
I just want to clarify because you said 60, but on those cases it was 21.
Okay. Thank you. We have to talk about quality of life in the city. Let's turn to everyday life in the city and some issues a mayor can directly impact. We start with a couple of questions about 311, the number New Yorkers call or text for non-emergency help. First off, have you ever called 311, and if so, for what? Mr. Mamdani?
I called 311 for issues with my heating in my apartment, and I've spoken to New Yorkers time and time again who are frustrated by the fact that they can track their Uber Eats block by block, but when they call 311 for them to come to their apartment, it's just a question of hoping and praying that they do. There's no actual appointment. That's something that we would change.
All right, Mr. Sliwa, have you ever called 311?
You know, there used to be that song 911 is a joke by Public Enemy. 311 is a joke. You can call it over and over and over again, and you never get a response.
Have you?
The analytics are when the operators talk to you, as I talk to them.
Still not an answer.
Yes, I've called them many times and gotten no response.
Mr. Cuomo?
Most citizens I talk to on the subways and streets never get good responses from 311.
Short answer. Mr. Cuomo?
I've heard a lot of complaints about 311, so I actually made a call to 311 myself to see if the complaints were bona fide. And I was dropped twice. Then they were going to send someone to find help a homeless woman in distress, and no one showed up.
You're all expressing frustration. Last year, 311 received 38 million contacts from New Yorkers, from calls to the website. Wanted to know if you had a sense across the 5 boroughs what the top 2 categories of complaints were. What do you think they were, Mr. Sliwa?
Potholes.
Ninja Turtles.
Potholes. People's undercarriages ripped out, ball
Another
bearings,
one?
alignments.
Second one, top 2?
Rats.
Low-key.
Rats. Okay.
Oh, the city is
Rat
flooded
hole.
with rats.
Mr. Cuomo, what do you think the top 2 complaints were?
Homeless and trash rats.
He's
All
such
right,
a
Mr.
fucking
Mamdani?
asshole.
There was housing and noise.
Okay, so the answer is noise and illegal parking. And we're going to stick with quality of life. Rosarina?
That's right. Let's talk about noise.
Mom, Donnie's the only one that got one of them.
because They fall into these two categories. First of all, is the residential one, that's the neighbors and the loud music. And the second one is the street or sidewalk, everything with the loud
Almost don't mind the
construction
rats,
and
that's
workers
tougher,
outside.
right?
So, Mr.
Rats
Cuomo,
are fine.
as mayor,
Yeah.
what can you do to help the city
Some of them are
that
pets,
never
too.
sleeps get a little bit of rest, Mr. Cuomo?
Master Splinter.
Yeah, look, I think if the 311 system
Give
worked
everyone
well,
cocaine.
if there was actually contact with people, I think New Yorkers would get it. I think New Yorkers would be responsive. I think we have to change the ethos in this city, the ethic in this city. Right now, it's toxic, it's divisive. Everyone's angry at everyone. I think when we have
New York,
public safety
no.
that's functional again.
You just insulted that man for the last half an hour.
New Yorkers are part of that system. I think they
He
would
wants to
be
kill
more
all the
cooperative than
Thank
you
you.
think.
Thank you very much.
There's no proposal.
Mr. Sliwa, how would you quiet a little bit the city that never sleeps?
In the outer boroughs, I see problems all the time, quality of life issues. 18-wheel tractor trailers, RVs parked everywhere. Garbage that's not picked up and collected. In the city,
That's
we've
not the
seen
answer.
trash cans taken away by the sanitation
That's not
department.
the
Jessica
point.
Tisch, when she was the commissioner. The quality of life has diminished noticeably. So naturally, people are going to revert to 311. But it's important that a mayor be able to provide services to all the people. And they believe
you.
if
Thank you,
quality
Mr.
of life
Sliwa.
is diminished,
The question
the next
was,
stop is
how would you
sell
reduce
your
noise
house
in New York
and
City?
leave the city. And my goal is
Well, thank
to
you very
improve
much.
and not move.
I would
Mr.
have a bike
Mamdani,
ride
your
with
turn.
my
What
constituents
we've seen
every weekend.
is one of the biggest sources of noise in this city is from congestion. And with the implementation of congestion pricing, we've actually seen noise complaints drop in the congestion zone. And so I would continue to find ways to ensure that we have reduced congestion across the city. And one of the ways is by making the slowest buses in America ones that are fast and free, so that New Yorkers can not only live a life of excellent quality of life, but also be able to get around this city without having to worry if they have $2.90 or soon to be $3 in their pocket, which is already out of reach for 1 in 5 New Yorkers.
We have here the author
the
of
only one that
congestion
answered the question.
pricing, and we have the apprentice of congestion pricing.
we might
I'm the
need
only candidate who's opposed to congestion pricing.
Thank you.
It
Okay,
has
thank you.
led
We
to
might
need to-
storefronts
we might need to
closing
place-
because they don't have enough
have-
food.
we have other
We
quality
need
of
to
life
move on,
issues.
otherwise we
Can I
might have to
just
place a call to 311
Right.
about candidates going over their allotted time. Okay? So we're going to move
No
on
one's
to
there,
Ooh,
don't
can you
worry.
give
We're
one
gonna
point to
move
the
on
moderators?
illegal
Moderators
parking
are
blocks
officially
in
on the
many
board.
neighborhoods.
Fuck
it. Yeah,
Recently,
they should have
Councilmember
one or 2
Lincoln
points for that.
Ressler
I will
released a
give them the
study
second
that
one I'm
found
hearing before.
450
Give them an
vehicles
infinity
parked
symbol.
illegally during the day in downtown Brooklyn, many with fake or government placards. That's just one snapshot of the city, but you hear similar complaints everywhere. So how would you fix this specific situation? You'll have 30 seconds. Mr. Sliwa will begin with you.
Well, obviously,
Hire
placards
50,000
have been
police.
abused consistently. You have people who've created fake placards. Not only that, you have people with fake license plates, paper plates. There's all violations against
Paper
the Department
plates.
of Transportation
Paper
rules
plates.
and regulations of where you
What
can
are they made
park a
of?
vehicle. There's just no
Are they
enforcement.
at least the
and
Dixie
that's
plates?
because we don't have police. We have these e-bikes going up and down. We have the motorbikes. They're not following rules and regulations. They should be licensed. They should have a way of being identified. This way, enforcement
Sliwa,
can
your
take place
time is
because
up.
people are terrified
Mr.
walking out into the streets.
Mr.
in their
Mamdani, your plan for illegal parking?
Don't
We
walk
have
in the
to
middle of the
showcase that
goddamn street.
accountability is true, whether for New Yorkers who are just living in this city or those who are working for this city. And the violation of traffic laws are violations no matter who is doing it, and to show that that accountability is something my city government's actually going to pursue.
Okay, Mr. Cuomo.
On the quality of life, you're right, is very, very important. On the placards, I would make it simple. I would recall all the city placards and reissue
That is
only
so
those that are
expensive.
bona fide.
That would take
Period.
so much
On day
time.
one. On the quality of life issues, the worst thing that could happen is if the Assemblyman's proposal for legalizing prostitution went through.
There we
that
go.
would be terrible for the quality of life. He also doesn't want to enforce misdemeanors.
We're getting to that,
That's
Mr. Cuomo.
assault, larceny, et cetera. That would
We're
be
going to have
terrible.
time to address that.
I want to be very clear. Not only have I never called for the legalization of prostitution, I'm not calling for that today either. And I also have never said anything about not enforcing misdemeanors. This is just yet another figment of Andrew Cuomo's imagination.
The DSA, which you give your part of your salary to, that's their position, abolish jails, no new carceral facilities.
So he donated money once.
And you're on the bill in Albany as a sponsor to decriminalize prostitution.
Cuomo. I had a real big 3 meatball sandwich earlier,
there's no one that is
I'm gonna
actually
need a
telling you what
guy.
to do other than the 8.5
Jared
million
came over
people
with
who
the
call the
sub.
city
Who
home.
told
You
you
want
to-
my policies?
Okay. All right.
You'll find them on my website.
Who told you to legalize prostitution?
Okay, we actually have a question.
Andrew,
now
you
that
can't
we're-
escape this. You signed the law doing away with loitering for prostitution. That was a law put forward by
He was back, baby.
Gentlemen,
You
not
up from his
started the
neck.
prostitution
All right, gentlemen,
in
Mr.
East
Sliwa.
Elmhurst,
That's not
Mr. Sliwa,
and
Mr.
Jackson
Sliwa.
Heights and Flushing.
Mr.
Get
Sliwa,
him.
we have,
And you
Get
want to
him.
add to it,
Mr.
which diminishes
Sliwa.
the quality of life.
Mr. Sliwa, when I talk over you, nobody's hearing you, and we actually have a question on that. So we'll let Rosarina ask.
And for this question, candidates, we want to come to Queens, where we know that prostitution has been an ongoing complaint. Mayor Adams forced
I've seen
form a
SVU. I know
task
what's going
force
on.
and order sweeps by the NYPD. But the situation continues, especially around the very popular Roosevelt Avenue. As mayor, Mr. Mandani, how would you handle this situation? You have 30 seconds.
I want to first be clear that I am not, and nor have I ever called for the legalization of prostitution. And if you are happy with what's happening on Roosevelt Avenue, then you should vote for Andrew Cuomo, because his policy is to continue the exact same ones we've seen under Eric Adams. My policy is to actually take on sex trafficking, to have a zero tolerance for violence against women, and to follow the advice of district attorneys that we have here in New York City, the current Manhattan DA, the former Manhattan DA, the current Brooklyn DA, the former Manhattan DA having said that prosecuting women for prostitution is something that actually leads to less safety. And what we need to do is provide an economy
Mr.
of
Mamdani,
opportunity.
just a quick clarification. So no legalization, how about decriminalization?
I do not think that we should be prosecuting women who are struggling, who are currently being thrown in jail, and then being offered job opportunities. I think we should be actually providing those kinds of opportunities at the first point of interaction.
Mr. Cuomo, your turn.
Look, Bill de Blasio, the assemblyman is a mini
Say
me
something out of your
BDB,
own mouth
He's
for
Bill
once.
de Blasio
God
light.
Yeah, right.
He proposed
Talk out of your
legalizing
own mouth.
prostitution. He didn't get it, and he just told the cops, don't arrest any more prostitutes. There is a bill in Albany that he
Sex
signed that
workers.
says the prostitution
bitch.
that a woman who is a prostitute, that would be
Sex worker.
decriminalized. That is
Slick
what
snake.
the bill says. And that's what he said, if you listen very carefully. That would take Roosevelt Avenue and explode it, because it would make it legal for prostitutes.
But real quick,
It's
how will
not
you handle
legal.
this situation?
You have to enforce the law. It's illegal. I went to Roosevelt Avenue. I talked to the store owners. I talked to the neighbors. I walked down Roosevelt Avenue
Thank
with
you. I have to
prostitutes
move on
there
to
at 9
Mr.
o'clock in the
Sliwa.
morning.
Your turn, Mr.
They wouldn't
Sliwa.
give me a
dealt
good
with this,
rate. I was
back
very
in the
Yeah.
80s and 90s in
No one
Hell's
would give me
Kitchen
a
in
corporate
Chelsea when
number.
they were overrun with
I had to
open-air
311
prostitution and Times Square.
These prostitutes.
You don't go after the women. The women are the victims here.
Hello.
You lock up the Johns, you shame
Even
the
this
Johns. You
fucking
let
guy
everybody know
knows.
about the Johns.
Right.
The madams
Subway
and the
Guardian,
pimps
get 'em.
need to be prosecuted to the full extent of the law. And these absentee landlords who knowingly rent their rooms, their apartments out for the use of prostitution, the Department of Building should come in, padlock the building, seize the building. Because many of these landlords live in Delray, Florida. They did back in the 80s and 90s when we did it in Chelsea and Times Square
Thank you,
and
Mr.
Hell's Kitchen.
Thank you,
and they're
Mr.
doing it
Sliwa.
again.
Okay.
And
Thank you,
there's
Mr.
no
Sliwa.
enforcement. That's why the prostitution
Okay. We only got about half an hour left of Ollie. So we're going to kick this up to like 1.15 speed.
Oh, they're talking too fast, man.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll go to 1 1/4.
I think 3 times speed.
No.
We're going to go to Sally now.
Thank you, David. We're going to talk a bit about experience and beliefs. We've covered a lot of ground tonight, but we want to probe a bit.
Tim's anxiety is rising. I just saw it. That inhale was straight stress. Just let it just let it wash over to you, and then perfect time, like time the perfect carry.
This isn't deeper into each of your mindsets and how you'll approach governing as mayor. Mr. Cuomo, you have touted your experience on the campaign trail time and again, but you pretty squarely lost the Democratic primary to Mr. Mamdani, forcing you, a lifelong Democrat, to run as an independent. When you announced that decision, you said, quote, "When you get knocked down, learn the lesson and pick yourself back up." What lesson did you learn, and what do you feel it said about you, something you did wrong, something that you need to change about yourself?
Keep me down.
I think in the primary campaign, I did not do enough on social media, which is a very effective medium now. I think the Assemblyman did do a better job on TikTok and social media than I did during the campaign, and that has changed now.
No, it hasn't.
No, it hasn't. Significantly.
I'm certain.
But my agenda is exactly the same. I am the Democrat, although I'm not on the Democratic line.
What? No.
He is a Democratic socialist, called Barack Obama evil and a liar.
Independent.
Didn't vote for Kamala Harris. Fight and deliver is I will fight for people, I will fight the bureaucracy, and I will deliver results. New Yorkers need the mayor to get something done. This is all words and theories. I am a manager.
New York is $60 million less.
Self-reflection is the thing you're reflecting on the most, that you need to be on social media more. Was there any other deeper lesson that you learned?
Between the two campaigns?
No, he didn't learn a thing.
More accessibility.
Okay.
I just have to say, it's been an hour and 20 minutes of this debate, and we haven't heard Governor Cuomo say the word affordability. That's why he lost the primary. That's why he'll lose the general election. And you can lie all you want, but the truth is, I voted for Kamala Harris. I'm the only candidate on the stage that.
All right.
It's like Ben Shapiro.
My brain loves that, but I
cannot.
I will acquiesce.
It's fine. It's fine for like senators who speak really slow, but Mamdani talks too fast.
I wish all of y'all talk that fast.
The endorsement of Kamala Harris, and I'm not the one who's funded by Bill Ackman, who called Kamala Harris unqualified to be the vice president of this country.
Okay, may I respond?
Yes, brief response, please.
There are a lot of New Yorkers who support me. And there are a lot of Jewish New Yorkers who support me because they think you're anti-Semitic.
Here we go again.
It's not about Trump or Republican. It's about you.
Do you think he's anti-Semitic, Mr. Cuomo?
I don't make those judgments about people. Are you a racist or an anti-Semite? I know there are many Jewish people who believe he is anti-Semitic.
Wow.
I believe not condemning the Intifada, what he has said about Hamas.
But Mr.
I can see where they
I covered
are.
your sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I covered your speech in an Upper West Side synagogue where you said anti-Zionism is anti-Semitism. There is no difference, and you were talking about Mr. Mamdani. Is that not an allegation?
No, I make that statement all the time. I wasn't referring to Mamdani.
I say that all the time, but I don't mean what I say.
Mamdani, a brief response, and then we have to move on.
I have denounced Hamas again and again, and it will never be enough for Andrew Cuomo, because what he is willing to say, even though not on this stage, is to call me, the first Muslim on the precipice of leading this city, a terrorist sympathizer, is to send mailers that artificially lengthen my beard, to say to New Yorkers that they should be fearful. What I will do is deliver for
Melissa has a specific question for you.
Mamdani, you are the Democratic nominee, and you're also a member, as we've been discussing, of a political organization that may be less familiar to New Yorkers, the Democratic Socialists of America, which believes in dismantling capitalism. New York City is the global headquarters of the finance industry. So how would you be the mayor of Wall Street and the DSA? You have 1 minute.
I would be the mayor of this entire city. And that means ensuring that the wealth that we generate in this city is also wealth that every single New Yorker can actually feel in their pockets. Because what we have today is a system that has generated the most wealth in the wealthiest country in the history of the world, where 1 in 4 of our neighbors are living in poverty. That's unacceptable. We can't look at 500,000 kids hungry every single night as just the cost of doing business in this city. That's something we have to actually change. And I'm going to do that by fighting for my neighbors in Queens that I've come to know, who are not only the ones who own teapots and toy stores, who own diners and dry cleaners, but also the ones who work there. Because right now, all of them are being pushed out of this city by corporate greed, by private equity, and by a politics that refuses to fight for them. I will finally deliver that.
Just a quick follow-up, Mr. Mamdani. A lot of Hispanic that flee socialism and are a little bit scared to hear your policies. What would you tell them?
Well, I would first say that I wouldn't be here without the support of Latino New Yorkers, because it was the majority of their support that helped to make me the Democratic nominee. And what democratic socialism means is a belief in the dignity of each and every New Yorker and the responsibility city government has to deliver that dignity. That's why I'm speaking about childcare, because it's pricing out New Yorkers from the city. That's why I'm speaking about freezing the rent, because housing isn't a human right in the way that we practice our politics in this city. And that's why I'm talking about making buses fast and free, because 1 in 5 New Yorkers are being priced out of public transit today.
Rosarina.
So, Mr. Sliwa, I would like to talk to you because you were here with us 4 years ago in the same stage for the general election debate, and you lost it.
You got your
Why
ass
do you
kicked
believe
in.
New York is ready to elect a Republican this time around?
First off, did I not warn you 4 years ago that Eric Adams would be corrupt and we would have chaos?
Damn it.
Oh, damn.
Of course I did. And I get praised for
I
that.
told you so.
Now I'm trying to get people to vote for me, not just on the Republican line, but also my wife, Nancy, who is the best thing that has ever happened to me, created the first ever independent Protect Animals line, which calls for no-kill shelters and putting animal abusers in jail. But the other thing that
put everybody in
differentiates me
jail.
from both of my adversaries is
those 7,000
that I
cops
am
have to do
opposed
something.
to the city of Yes,
I'm
which
turning
will
the Empire
destroy
State
the
Building
residential
into a
neighborhoods.
prison.
Both of them are for the city of Yes. So when you vote for me, whether on the
Which is now
Republican line
called
or the
Orthanc.
Protect Animals line, turn your ballot over and vote no on all those
Go
initiatives
home,
and
Mikey.
referendums. Imagine,
Go home.
they've said, how can you, Curtis, a Republican, work with a Democratic majority in the council? Adrian Adams is in agreement with me. The Democratic city council people are in agreement with me. No to the city of Yes, which will take your homes and provide
Thank
you
you, Mr.
instead
Stewart.
with lithium-ion battery warehouses
Thank
next to
you,
your house,
Mr.
which are like mini
Stewart.
Chernobyls.
Thank
I'm
you.
the only candidate who is
What?
opposed to the city of Yes.
Thank you.
Just to-
And
I have a quick follow to that, Mr.
No
Sliwa. How do you
fucking
bring down
way.
costs if you
He's
don't
all
build
right.
more housing?
Oh.
Oh, it's very simple to build housing. You just look in New York City. We have so many dense areas
islands?
where you no
Yeah,
longer
right.
can use the commercial space. They used to be office space. And you just convert it into residential housing. You don't need to go into the outer
You're
boroughs.
opposing
You don't need
policy
to use
build more
wetlands
housing.
and
Thank you.
parklands, which
Okay.
they
Thank
seek to do. If you build a new building, it takes 5 years. If you convert an
All right, Mr.
existing
Slewa, thank you. We want
building,
to change the
it
pace
can
a
be
little
done
bit.
in a year.
Want to change the pace and just get a sense of what you
Just
think about
don't
political
crack
leadership.
any of the tiles
We're curious
or
about
let
who
the
you
insulation
admire.
fall on you because
Who's
it's
the
full of
best
asbestos.
modern day U.S.
Yeah.
president? Mr. Cuomo?
That's why they're empty.
Modern day, well, I'm partial. I was Bill Clinton's Housing and Urban Development Secretary.
Ew.
Built affordable
That's-
housing
ugh.
all across the United States.
Gross.
Bill Clinton?
Empowerment zones. I would say Bill Clinton.
Okay. Mr. Mamdani?
I would say FDR.
Mr. Slewa?
He's modern day.
Modern.
Shut your ass up.
Well,
Man,
I'd say
it's true.
FDR also, if that's modern day.
Shut the
Mr. Slewa?
boy.
Man
I'm a
that ended up being loved by Democrats and Republicans alike. The greatest governor we've ever had in my lifetime, George Pataki. 3 terms, no chaos, no corruption.
I was
And
asking.
he actually beat
President.
never
Mr.
president.
President.
Moron.
Mr. Slewa, modern day U.S.
This
president.
Keep laughing.
this
Modern day U.S.
President
president.
Curtis. Wake
Oh, who's
up.
the
Yeah, who you thought the best modern
best president in our lifetime?
Yeah.
I would say the
modern-
best
Reagan.
president in our
Reagan.
lifetime that I've experienced. I would go back to Ronald Reagan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about the best New York City mayor, Mr. Slewa? Best New York City mayor.
Oh my God! Wake
Rudy
up,
Giuliani who
Sliwa.
endorsed me last
Yeah,
week.
Rudy Giuliani,
And
yeah.
I'd have a little bit of Michael Bloomberg thrown in because he liked
Mr.
the delegate
Mamdani?
responsibility.
I think the best New York City mayor of all time is Fiorello LaGuardia.
LaGuardia, that's a good one.
It
That's a
was
call
Bill
out.
de Blasio last debate.
No, I've always said
Shut
Fiorello is the
your
best
old
mayor of all
ass
time.
Who's yours, Mr. Cuomo?
Is it of all time or modern time?
I'm
Best
about
New
to
York City
cuss you
mayor.
out.
Of all time, it is Fiorello LaGuardia.
We agree.
Recently, I would say Mayor Dinkins and Mayor Bloomberg.
Okay. How about the political leader, dead or
Isn't
alive?
Dinkins
you
part of
most
the
admire?
DSP?
Mr. Mamdani?
I would say I admire Bernie
Stalin.
Sanders.
Stalin.
Mr.
Yeah.
Cuomo?
My father.
Mr.
Gross.
Slewa?
I said it already, George Pataki, who was loved by Democrats and Republicans and the greatest mayor
People did like George
in our
Pataki.
lifetime.
All right.
The greatest
Now,
governor in our
I just have one more before Sally starts to ask you about schools. A show of hands. Who supports Kathy Hochul for re-election?
It's a decision that should be made
Not
after
Sliwa.
this general election.
So no decision. Mr. Cuomo, you handpicked her as your lieutenant governor. No thought.
You have to know who's running.
Yeah. Okay. So
And I would add that I do think that Kathy Hochul, our governor, has been doing a good job in not only
Do you
serving
support her
and
for
delivering,
re-election?
not only delivering for New Yorkers, but also standing up to Donald Trump.
just what do you support her for
Then
re-election?
endorse her.
I'm focusing on November.
Why don't you
And I
endorse her?
appreciate her support
All right,
and I
thanks,
appreciate
candidates.
her work.
But you
Thanks,
don't
candidates.
Why couldn't you do it,
How about
Cuomo?
a
You
shout
fuck.
out for
All right,
Lisa
we're gonna
Stefanik
turn
to
to-
take out Kathy Hochul.
No,
So you have a
okay.
Republican
All right.
Mayor Curtis,
All right.
a Republican Governor
Thank you, gentlemen.
Stefanik,
Thank you.
like Giuliani
We want to
and
talk about
Pataki, who
schools.
saved this city
We want to
and
talk about
state.
schools. Sally?
Okay. Thank you, David.
Lord have
Let's turn to
mercy.
education. There are a number of issues facing public schools. One that's been controversial in the campaign is the Gifted and Talented program, which offers accelerated instruction to elementary school children. Mr. Mamdani, you have said that you want to phase out the Gifted and Talented program, while Mr. Cuomo and Mr. Sliwa want to expand it. Mr. Sliwa, we will start with you. What is your plan for the program? You have 1 minute.
Gifted and talented.
Yes, gifted and talented.
I have 2 younger sons with Melinda Katz, the Queens DA. They both attempted to get into gifted and talented as 4-year-olds. They failed. It did not present a problem with
You want to put that on TV, bro?
We don't have enough slots. Right now, they're 1,900. We need to have at least 5,000 slots around the city. What they have not done
for small talk whenever he talks to anyone
is make these tests available in Black and Hispanic communities. So, for instance, you have 77.
For the record, I've never told you guys this, but I passed my gifted test.
7,000 children who are 4 years old. Only 10,000 have taken the test.
We couldn't afford it.
4,000 are accepted.
It was like $1 bajillion.
To all 77,000. And even if a gifted and talented class only has 3 or 4 in a minority school, give these children an opportunity to excel too. That would make it fair for everybody.
Thank you. Mr. Cuomo, how does your plan differ from Mr. Sliwa's? You also have 1 minute.
First, I support mayoral control. I think it would be a terrible mistake to roll back mayoral control. That's probably been the most dramatic educational reform in 40 years. We'd go back to the old system that had local school boards, which were corrupt, patronage mills, et cetera.
Yeah,
so
we
who
wouldn't know any
runs
lawsuits.
the system is number one. I would expand the gifted and talented programs, accessibility. I'd offer preparatory courses to any student parent that wanted to take them. I'd double the number of specialized high schools from 9 to 18. And I would keep the SHSAT as it is.
Thank you. And Mr. Mamdani.
Could I add one thing? There's been no discussion about vocational
This cameraman,
the
producer back there was like, come on, I keep switching to the
we
person
need to
who's turning it as
expand
a talk.
vocational training for those.
You're not going to
who are
win. No one
Keep
cares
going.
about
Mr. Mamdani,
you.
why should the Gifted and Talented program be phased out, in your opinion? You have a minute to answer.
So I want to be very clear. I have spoken solely of gifted and talented for kindergartners. I do not believe that kindergartners should be subject to a singular assessment. I have not spoken of any gifted and talented programs older than for kindergarten. I'm solely speaking about kindergarten. And I believe that we should be delivering the best education across the country here in this city. We will do that.
Because he was looking like, I didn't fucking
proposals
say
I put
that.
forward to hire 1,000 more teachers every single year through our community to classroom program. One that will ensure that we're providing each student, whether they be in high school or someone who is an adult looking to become a teacher, with $12,000 in tuition subsidies so that they can start to fulfill the 7,000 to 9,000 additional teachers we need so that we can actually deliver on the Class Size Reduction Act, which I was proud to pass in Albany, that will ensure that children and teachers actually have a manageable ratio in that classroom
in
so that
school
they
and
can
off the
learn.
streets.
We'll put the
Today,
teachers on the
that learning is
subway.
being rendered impossible
Give the
by the number of
teachers
kids
AKs.
in that same classroom. It's time to make sure that that number is lower.
Thanks.
But you don't
Gentlemen,
believe the mayor should run the system.
Shut the fuck up,
I've been critical of mayoral control because of the ways in which it's been used to
damn.
take away the voice of parents, of educators, of students.
blowing my
I think
high,
it's
bro.
important that those same voices be a part of how we lead the system.
So are you for or against mayoral control?
Fuck up.
I've been
You're
critical
not
of
a
it. I'm
fucking
against mayoral
moderator.
control, and I think that there's an importance of developing something that actually
Aren't they not allowed to ask
enshrines
each other
all of those voices
questions?
together.
Mr. Cuomo, you also tried to curtail
Doesn't
it
appear
when
to be
Mayor de
that way.
Blasio was mayor. But
Yeah.
Did you hear
I'm
what she
sorry.
said?
No.
I was saying you proposed a curtailment of mayoral control when Mayor de Blasio was mayor during
There's
negotiations.
been multiple modifications of mayoral control.
But some proposed
Changed
curtailment
my
of Hanson,
opinion
if you're
a
such
lot.
champion of
I don't know.
tonight,
No, I
think
never,
it's
I
worth
never,
pointing
I
out.
never proposed reversing
Romney-
mayoral control.
No, shortening the duration of time he would have control of schools.
Yes, for renewal. The renewal
Right.
Mamdani,
period.
how much
Counter
control
to
of
what you're
schools,
saying.
Mr. Mamdani, how much control of schools would you be
Like,
giving
is
up?
he lying
Is
or
it
is
just a
he
sharing
stupid?
arrangement?
Put in your vote
I know you want
now.
to share with the districts and with parents, or would you be giving up full control? And is that an accountability problem if the buck doesn't stop with you?
I think the mayor needs to retain the accountability so that New Yorkers know exactly who they can come to when they have critiques. And I think we also have to develop a system where we don't have what we saw just recently, where you have hours and hours of parents and teachers and
Okay.
students testifying only to be overruled without any
Okay.
consideration by by the panel on
Thank you.
education.
Mr. Mamdani, I have to move on. Switching now, it's a question for all three of you. Switching to students with learning challenges.
Interrupting. They need to shut him up.
Students with dyslexia, ADHD, and autism are very well aware the fact that the school system in New York City is not doing enough to meet their children's educational needs. How will you help these parents and students? We know that Mayor Adams has expanded evaluations specifically for children with dyslexia.
What the hell was that?
It was an issue close to his
Did
heart.
Oreos
But what
flash
would
across
you
the
do
screen?
more
I'm hungry.
broadly, Mr. Mamdani?
No, I think some of the initiatives that Mayor Adams
might
has
have double
launched,
stuffed
especially
Oreos,
with
you
this
don't know.
chancellor, have been showing positive signs, especially for literacy and for preparedness,
Mark,
especially as we're in a national crisis
some of that my way.
on reading and mathematical comprehension. And I think those are
Smells
programs
like double
that
stuffed.
should be furthered, should be invested in, all while also ensuring that we're giving teachers greater flexibility in the curriculum that they're actually teaching. Because what I've heard from many of those teachers is that too often the curriculum that's being procured in the $10 billion a year in DOE contracts is one that has little relation to the
Thank you, Mr. Mamdani. Mr. Sliwa, you have 30 seconds.
Yes. We have $41,000 that we're spending on each student now. By fourth grade, 2/3 of these children cannot read, write, or do math at grade level. We should be ashamed of ourselves for that. 100,000 less students than we had last year. 1/3 are truants.
They all moved to Connecticut.
200 schools with 200 students or less, and Michael Mulgrew determines which schools stay open. Eric Adams is not exhibiting mayoral control. The mayor should run the Board of Education, the old Board of Education that is now the Department of Education. The bureaucracy. You have 13 deputy chancellors. You have 50 department heads that suck up all the money, and teachers are still reaching into their pockets to pay for badly needed supplies for the children in the class. The money should be going to the teachers and the children and young adults, and it's not.
Mr. Cuomo, what is your specific plan to deal with the challenges of students who have learning differences?
We are losing young families. When the child becomes of school age, they leave the city, they go to the suburbs, they go to New Jersey. They're not going to sacrifice their child on what they think is a secondary education system. The core competency, reading and math, below 50% is a disgrace. The gifted and talented programs gives people hope. I do believe Mayor Adams has made progress on the evaluations and services for children who require special needs and assistance, but obviously we have to do more.
So we have another question about improving schools. And in the last year, the schools enrolled more than 36,000 migrant students, many learning English for the first time. From class size to bilingual teachers, that puts a big strain in the system. Mr. Cuomo, what can you do to help migrant students, but also the staff? You have 30 seconds.
Call ICE on them, apparently.
I think it was wrong of the state to put so many migrants in New York City. Yeah. New York City had the overwhelming majority of migrants.
But they're already here.
Close to about 80%. The state should have
they were already here, you fuck.
Nassau, Suffolk, upstate. So other governments could have
deport them.
Well, they were bused here from Texas.
And we have a situation
right now. But if they're bused from Texas, you could have brought some to Nassau. 20 miles,
yeah, but they're here
Westchester.
Right now, and we're asking about the current problem.
Yes, well, that's how the problem was created.
Okay, we understand.
The state put them here. The state gave the city the bill.
He's so bad at this. How can you be so bad at this? It has now increased the challenge
in our education system. The state is going to have to help financially.
So you didn't answer the question, Mr. Mamdani, is your chance.
You know, when I spoke about our community to classroom program, the importance of it is not just bringing in 1,000 more teachers every year. It's also that we would bring in a number of more bilingual educators. Because what we've heard from a number of adults who have taught in other countries, now live in New York City, is the process by which they get their certification approved to teach here is one that is onerous and one that is actually pricing many of them out. That's why this is a program that will directly address that, to increase that bilingual capacity in our school system so that we can teach every single child, no matter when they got here, the public education.
Mr. Mamdani, this certification has been offered and it hasn't been successful. So how can you make more teachers to be, like they want to do this?
Part of what I've heard is that the tuition costs as part of the same certification exams are onerous for many of these adults looking to switch careers. That's why this program is built upon providing $12,000 in tuition assistance that would lead to 1,000 more teachers every year.
Give them student loan relief.
We have not just migrant children. We have the children of the homeless, over 120,000. We haven't yet discussed charter schools, parochial schools that are closing. Normally, parochial schools would have been able to take some of these children. We need need to expand the number of charter schools that are doing an amazing job, especially in the inner cities. And why not make that available to migrant children and to the homeless children who are coming from shelters all across the city who need the special teaching skills that have lifted children in the charter schools? We need to give choice because that's our most precious resource, our children.
So allow me to now move on into the sanctuary.
I agree on the charter schools.
Thank you, Mr. Cuomo. So allow me now to enter into the sanctuary city situation. And let's talk about also undocumented immigrants. 26 Federal Plaza has become a flagship in federal immigration crackdown. We reported that asylum seekers are showing up for like those routine appointments, not facing any criminal challenges, and they end up being deported. So by the show of hands, we would like to know if you believe that any of you could do something to stop this. Okay. So Mr. Cuomo,
Cuomo's not going to do a goddamn thing.
What would you do?
The law is the law. And I would have an attorney assigned to every person who is undergoing any review by the federal government or any legal proceeding, and put the full weight of the city government behind it. And make sure
you
they
want to hire
legally
20,000 new
Mr.
lawyers.
What's your
Right. That doesn't exist.
Going after the criminals, that's the job of Immigration and Naturalization Service, ICE. But when they have to perform under a quota, because I speak to many of the men and women who serve this country, it's putting too much pressure to go outside of courthouses, to go Home Depot shape-ups, or the backs of restaurants and hospitality businesses, which have hired these migrants, and they are essential workers now. I can tell you, I have 3 sons. None of them are going to do that work. Some Americans will, but most won't. We need to protect the migrants who are workers, who are essential workers, and use ICE to go after the drug dealers, the gangbangers, the sexual predators,
Look out,
and
Cuomo.
those who are sex trafficking and involved in narco-terrorism.
Mr. Ramdani.
Yep.
Now, I'd be proud to be the first immigrant mayor of this city in generations. And it's at 26 Federal Plaza that I've seen what used to be moments when New Yorkers would be getting their citizenship turn into moments of tragedy, where judges are asking New Yorkers who are there for a routine immigration check-in whether they're prepared to leave in the very same clothes that they arrived to that courthouse. I agree that we need more legal representation. I also think we need to actually be able to stand up to Donald Trump, because I heard from Pastor in East Flatbush, Pastor Galbraith, who told me how he accompanied a member of his congregation to 26 Federal Plaza. He sat there as a judge was determining her fate. They managed to convince the judge to replace the deportation order with a TPS order, but they knew that ICE would not care about that change, and they had to sprint her out of the building, smuggling her into the elevator in order to get her back to Brooklyn.
Thank you.
Candidates want to talk about New York City's economy.
We didn't
change the
interrupt
pace
that,
a little
huh?
bit. Everyone supports growing New York City's economy. The mayor is our chief salesman to the business world. So we want to mix it up, test your persuasive power. So we're calling it an elevator pitch. And we'll start with you, Mr. Mamdani. In this scenario, imagine you're talking to the CEO of a big tech company deciding to move its headquarters to New York City or to Dallas. The CEO is concerned New York just raised its corporate taxes and employees will pay more for everything. Look into the camera and make your pitch to that CEO to come here and not there. Do it in 30 seconds.
Dallas
New York
is
City
hot
has
as
something that
hell.
Dallas or no other city across this country could actually
We're the
offer.
hottest
That
city
is the quality
in the
of
whole
life. That is
world.
the arts and the culture. That is the
Lots
people
of
that make
bees
the
in
city so
Dallas.
special. And I, as the mayor of this city, will deliver that quality of life, will deliver the safety that is the cornerstone of an affordability agenda, and will ensure that companies choose to come to this city and also choose to stay in this city. Because so much of what drives the tech sector is a hunger for innovation, a unrepenting desire to actually innovate, and those are the very things that are going to characterize my city government in this.
But what do you say to the CEO about the corporate taxes and also the staggering costs for the workers?
You asked him the question.
We are
he
going
answered.
to make this city more affordable so that workers who want to work at those companies can actually be able to do so. And we're going to ensure that this city continues to be one where we see businesses opening and also staying open.
All right, thank you. Sally?
Mr. Cuomo, something of a reverse scenario for you. The CEO of a similar company with 1,000 good jobs tells you she's very close to moving her headquarters out of New York City. She cites everything from taxes to the crushing cost of living for her employees in New York City. How do you convince that CEO to stay? Please look into the camera and make your elevator pitch. You have 30 seconds.
We know that the
Tax
other
abatements.
companies in,
That was for
in New
Mr.
York City.
Cuomo.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
You didn't
I
fucking
thought that
listen.
happened. Yeah, I thought that happened.
The
Yeah.
question is to me in this camera.
Yes, the question is how you would convince the CEO of a company with 1,000 good jobs who's looking to move out of New
buddy.
York
I
City
did
because of the
this.
high cost of
Why
living for
can't
her
you?
employees
Why can't you?
and taxes. How you would convince her to stay in New York City.
I'm
In
Cuomo.
15 seconds?
30.
Okay.
30 seconds.
Jesus Christ.
Oh my
Did they not
God.
hear?
I get it. I understand your frustration.
He's not
I
a good
understand that
listener.
the far left has been raising taxes and making businesses feel like the enemy. We get it. That's gone. The DSA, the socialist orientation, we're not socialists. It didn't work in Venezuela, didn't work in Cuba, didn't work here. We know that we have to work with business. We want to be your partner. We want to have taxes that help us grow our city, but are competitive for you.
We're at time.
And we want to partner to grow your business and
Thank
our
you,
city
Mr.
together.
Thank you.
Mr.
You
Sliwa,
took
let's
too
talk
much
about
time.
business, because let's assume the big tech company that we pitched to Mr. Mamdani earlier has decided to move to New York, and it's 1,000 good paying jobs, and the CEO wants to be based in Astoria, Queens. But there's a loud pushback of residents who don't want the noise and the traffic. How can you convince the residents to accept the new neighbor? You're speaking to a very powerful community. How can you convince
I got
them?
7,000
But we saw that with Amazon. Amazon wanted to come in, and AOC
put them
led
on
the
the
charge
subway.
and local elected officials to say no to Amazon. That was
That's
a big
right.
mistake.
No, it
I
wasn't.
would say this.
Save the city.
Our companies are being recruited away by the day. We have young people who are going to school here who could fill their needs in these high-tech industries who also are being
Amazon
lured
is not
away.
high-tech, it's cardboard
We need
boxes.
to cut their
Yeah.
income taxes for 5 years. Tell them if you go to school
No,
here, graduate
no tax
here,
abatements.
no income taxes for 5 years. It's their
Don't do
income
that
tax
shit.
holiday.
Then
And the
they
most
leave.
important thing,
They
we have
leave
to
at
be
year
able to
6.
assure
Thank you.
the
Thank you,
executive that
Thank you,
this will
Mr.
be a
Sliwa.
city
Even
where
we
we
know
don't
that.
lock
We're
up
dum-dums.
toothpaste any longer, but
Tax
lock up
abatements
the
are a
criminals
trap.
who make it intolerable to have a good quality
still
of life.
dum-dums.
We need to move on to a
That
subject
was
that
the
is.
Democratic Socialists of America that stopped Amazon and cost us 25,000 jobs. So
Thank
it's
you,
real
Mr.
life.
Cuomo. We need to move on to a
Shut the fuck
crisis
up.
that is very important to a lot of voters, and that is people struggling
hell
with mental
Fuck the hell
health problems. Roughly 500
You gotta put
times a
those on the
day,
thing, Mikey.
someone calls
right.
911 about an emotionally disturbed person. And in a limited number of
I got
those cases,
7,000
when the person is not believed to be violent, social
They're
workers
all
are
gonna take turns
dispatched
punching him
instead of
once.
police. Mr. Mamdani, you want to do that on a much larger scale. So we want to know, how will this work? When will you send police versus social workers? You have 1 minute.
You know, we have a program here in New York City called Be Heard that is attempting to do this kind of work. But we've had a mayor who has ensured that it's been unsuccessful to the extent that even when there was an assessment of about 60% of calls that could have been addressed by Be Heard instead of the NYPD, Be Heard was not actually responsive to it. And that's because we haven't had the political will to deliver on what is a crisis that affects so many New Yorkers, which is the mental health crisis. What my plan will do, an innovative plan of the Department of Community Safety, will take what has worked elsewhere in the country, a program in Eugene, Oregon, where they took 24,000 911 mental health calls out of the police department. They were able to respond to all but 311 without police assistance. When there is a concern for safety or of violence, absolutely, you would have the police there. But what we are doing today is actually ensuring that every single call is going to the police
Mr.
and not
Mamdani,
allowing them to do the work that they signed up to do.
How will you determine whether there is a concern for safety or violence? What is the line between the calls in which police will be dispatched and the calls to which social workers will be dispatched?
The line is also going to be one focused on violence and the threat of violence. And I also trust the operators who will be receiving those calls to make that determination, as they do every day today for so many emergency services.
And just two really quick points,
countries
please.
have figured it
There has
out,
been a
so
lot
it's
of
not
discussion that you would send social workers to domestic violence calls, which police are concerned about. So you're saying no, okay. And then the other question is, how can you be sure that a situation that does not sound violent when someone calls 911 does not become violent in the moment? Would police be assigned as backup?
I think what you do is you actually follow the experts that have shown us this can work when you're willing to ensure that you're trusting the mental health experts who have been doing this work elsewhere in the country, where they call for the police when they need the police, but their initial impulse when there's no violence in that call is to actually address the mental health at the heart of it.
Okay, Mr. Sliwa, you have encountered plenty of these types of situations in your decades of work with the Guardian Angels. So do you see this approach working? You're not a police officer, but you've helped out in situations.
So, Ron, boy, another fantasy that's not reality. Eugene, Oregon. Have you ever been to Eugene? I've been to Eugene. Come on, this is New York City. We have so many emotionally disturbed persons that are in need of help.
Present company,
we'll tell
not
you this, Andrew, you closed the mental health beds that were taking care of them. 40,000 when you came into office, down to 4,000 because of your cuts, which forced these people to live in the streets, in the parks, and the subways. These people need to be removed.
They
need mental health care. We need to make our shelters safe. I've been in 1/3 of the 300 shelters run by the Department of Homeless Services. It's Darwinian there, survival of the fittest. If we can make our shelter system safe, we can get men and women who are homeless in there, especially veterans who we're not giving any attention to, who we put out in Ward's Island at 10 o'clock at night, released during the day, don't give any training, have them roam about, and obviously, when you have nothing to do, you end up getting into trouble.
Okay.
This is a disastrous, homeless, and emotionally disturbed plan that we have in New York City. And I'm the mayor that can change it because I deal with them every day in the streets.
Ain't nobody
in the
calling you
parks,
mayor.
and the subways.
Okay, Mr. Cuomo, do you think that the NYPD handles these calls for emotionally disturbed people in distress well? Is there room for something in the middle?
Yeah, I love Tesla. The Assemblyman deals in theory. There's an advantage when you actually have experience. I've run homeless programs. I ran the homeless programs for the federal government.
Goes in,
working
tide
cities
goes
all
out.
across the
You
nation.
can't explain that.
When you get a call on
either.
a telephone about a mentally ill person who may be violent, it is a very dangerous situation. And I think you should have a mental health worker accompanied with a police officer, because these can be explosive situations. I have been in situations that seemed apparently calm and fine.
You have not.
And then erupted into violence very quickly, and it got very dangerous.
And I needed a big, stupid guy to shoot him.
Worker with a police officer, and get the people off the streets. That's the humane thing, and get them the care they need. Not institutionalize 40,000 people again. We have supportive housing now, which is what we use, and forensic beds for people who need them.
Let me get this straight. A police officer is there first. He has to wait for the arrival of a mental health care worker.
No, I would send them as a team.
As a team. But that's not realistic. You're dealing with fantasy also.
Hiring 7,000
the police
cops isn't
officers are
realistic.
going to be the first one on the scene, and they're always going to have to deal with it first and foremost.
Mr. Cuomo says that he has experience running homeless programs. What he has experience doing is cutting funding for the very programs that prevented homelessness here in New York City. As the governor, he cut funding for the Advantage program, which was putting New Yorkers who had otherwise been in shelters, otherwise been homeless, into apartments. I met one of those New Yorkers,
Mr. Cuomo,
and she told me how that pushed her out on the street.
Thank you, Mr. Mamdani. Brief response, Mr.
He's talking about a program 14 years ago. That was a pilot program that had a work requirement. It was very controversial. It was $65 million.
You're talking about Advantage, just so we know what you're talking
program.
about? Okay.
It was 14 years ago, it was $65 million. I added billions to the homeless budget. Funded the homeless budget larger than any governor in history.
Okay.
He
thank you. We want to talk about.
He cut that program. Homelessness skyrocketed.
Mr. Mamdani, we have aired
It
this
was 14 years ago.
All right.
It was during the Bloomberg administration. And yes, okay.
Okay. I want to ask you about climate change. As New York City confronts the impact of climate change, one issue already on the desk of the next mayor is Local Law 97.
Hold on.
Passed in 2019, the law requires large buildings to gradually reduce greenhouse gas emissions by 2030. That may require very expensive upgrades to buildings, which some landlords and co-op owners say they just simply can't afford. We're wondering how each of you would enforce the law. You have 30 seconds. Mr. Cuomo.
Local Law 97, I support.
$65 million in the homeless.
Implementing the law is going to be the key, because it has to be done in a way that isn't so disruptive to businesses.
Down on the bottom, we have you love him, the mayor of New York.
And residences that they just give up and pay the fine and don't even try to comply.
All right.
Which is what is going to happen now. it will be cheaper for them to pay the fine than comply.
Hi, Eric.
And that obviously will accomplish nothing. So, yes, I support the law. Yes, we have to implement it, but we have to implement it in a way that is feasible.
Thank you, Mr. Cuomo. Mr. Sliwa?
Local 97 will destroy those people who have invested in co-ops and condos. There's 100,000. It's forcing them to electrify. Now, you, Andrew Cuomo, took Indian Point offline, 25% of our electrical capacity with no replacement, which has caused skyrocketing electricity bills. And now we're going to force condo and co-op owners to electrify. Maintenance fees will go up 30%. These people will be leaving their condos and co-ops. They need relief.
Bye.
When I'm mayor, I slow that process down. We need our co-op owners and condo owners to stay here in New York City and not leave.
Indian Point, absolutely. Yeah. Indian Point was started before me. It was a very dangerous
need this
situation.
Geo-Metro.
We have nuclear facilities
I see 'em in the
upstate,
subways.
and my proposal on what I did is run cables from the nuclear facilities upstate to bring the power to downstate. Indian Point had 20 million people in the kill zone.
Thank you, Mr. Cuomo. Mr. Mamdani, local law 97, how would you enforce the law as mayor?
I support the law, and I would also make it easier for condo and co-op owners to comply with the law, because what I've heard from so many is that it's cheaper to pay the fine than to actually get into compliance. And I think the city has a role here in procurement at a large scale of so much of what is necessary in these infrastructure investments. We've seen it be done in the Clean Energy Challenge within NYCHA. It's time to do it right here in New York City to assist those condo and co-op owners in meeting the standards we desperately need to hit.
Okay, gentlemen, New York City loves its parades, and the mayor is often front and center. You have all said that you want to be mayor for all New Yorkers. So will you march in all the parades that mayors have traditionally marched in?
Fuck the hell
or
off.
Are there any that you would boycott? Mr. Sliwa?
That's a weird question.
I think a mayor has a responsibility, whenever possible, to march in parades, to celebrate whatever that
What about the
parade
Israel Day
is.
parade, huh, Zora?
I've been a grand marshal of the Pulaski
I'm going
Day
to walk
parade.
like a man.
To
Are
celebrate
there
my
any that you
Polish
would
heritage.
boycott, though? I just need to move this along.
Excuse me?
Would you boycott any of the city's parades?
No, I would not boycott any parades.
Mr.
It's the mayor's
Cuomo, would you
responsibility.
boycott-
This is really what
to
the
be
voters
available
give
to
a
all racial
single
and ethnic
Fucking parades,
Sure.
you know,
No,
that day
must
that
be
they shut down
discriminated.
traffic for no
Okay.
fucking reason.
Mr. Mamdani?
There are many
I
parades
hate
that I would not be
Thanksgiving.
attending because I'd be
I
focusing
will
on the
not
work of
be
leading this city.
participating.
Which parades?
A
Would you
number
not
of
be
them.
going?
I've already missed a number of those parades because I've been
Well,
trying
could you tell
to
us?
speak
Yeah,
to as
with
many
our
New Yorkers
audience
as
here.
possible.
Okay.
I
Oh,
don't
now
have the
you
list
want to
of all
help
the
her
parades I've
talk.
missed.
Wow.
Shut up, boy.
Are there,
The mayor
let me
should
ask
be
you
going to
this.
all parades.
Let me ask you this. Are there any parades that don't exist that you think should? Mr. Mamdani?
I haven't thought much about parades, to be honest with you.
Mr. Cuomo?
I have not thought.
You
I don't
copycat
even know
bitch.
what parade doesn't exist.
Could be for anything.
What's a
Mr. Sliwa?
parade?
Every parade
He
has the
plans
right
such a
to
big
exist
speech
in
about
New York City.
parades
I
and
would
then
ask
just
you,
immediately pivoted.
Mr. Mondani,
Okay.
would you
You
protect
balled
the
it up
Christopher
because
Columbus
Zoran changed
statues
his
that
name.
exist here in the city?
I'm telling you, my focus is on affordability. I'm not thinking
Well,
about
you're not
that.
answering the
This
question.
is
Yeah.
stack of
He-
balled
he-
up
he-
paper on the
Gave the
floor.
finger to the Columbus Day
That issue's
statue.
come up
That's what we
earlier
call
in
it,
the debate. All right,
disgraziato.
Listen, we're in the last couple of minutes, and we thought
know what
we'd
that
have
means?
some questions.
Lithium
We thought
battery
we'd have some
parade.
questions that maybe give a glimpse into your life or your personality away
little
from the political
Chernobyls.
podium. What's your go-to
Happy
breakfast order at the
Chernobyl
bodega? Mr. Sliwa?
What's your go-to breakfast?
They're all
Eggs
going
and
to say
cheese
egg
on
and
a
cheese
roll.
sandwich
No
on a roll.
salt, please.
Mr. Cuomo?
Same thing, no salt also.
What?
Mr.
They all
Mondani?
got high blood
Egg
pressure.
and cheese on a roll with jalapenos.
No.
My man.
Have you ever purchased anything
Damn.
in a cannabis shop? And if so, what did you buy, Mr. Mamdani?
Cocaine!
I have purchased marijuana at a legal cannabis shop.
Okay. Mr.
Yeah.
No.
Cuomo's on fucking edibles right now.
When I was shot 5 times, I've had
Oh,
Crohn's
Jesus
disease. I
Christ.
did use medical marijuana. Yes.
Okay.
You and I was shot
In a dream
5.
scenario, we know it's not
Even the
possible, but the Mets are
Republicans
playing Game
used
7 of
weed.
the World Series on the same night as the Knicks are playing Game 7 of the NBA Championship, and you can only go to one. Which one will it be,
Ooh,
Mr.
I don't
Sliwa?
care.
Again, which baseball team?
This is the Mets, Game 7, Knicks, Game 7. You know,
He's like,
I'm not going to the Mets game. I'm a Yankee fan. True baseball fan.
He said
either
Mets
like
versus
one or
Knicks,
the other. I'm
stupid.
going to the Knicks game. That's my team, the Knicks.
Mr. Cuomo?
I'm going to go half and half. I can make it back and forth.
Oh my
Mr.
God,
Ramdani,
bro!
Such a
What's your answer?
Waffle.
Okay. There's a lot of ground covered. We'll leave it on that light note. Thank you, candidates,
for my helicopter,
a spirited debate.
so I can.
Como was sweating, just hoping that Mandani would answer first, that he could just.
Yeah.
Yo, I got 3 words for that fucking answer.
Fucking thing sucks.
No.
That was the worst answer ever. I would miss both of them by traveling. Like, what the fuck?
If you only knew how ridiculous that statement is, you wouldn't have said it.
I would actually be in the parade.
Yeah.
What was the parade option versus Game 7 of the Knicks? Or was it Knicks and Mets? And
A Knicks game or a Mets
Knicks
game?
and Mets, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. Man, fuck the Mets.
Yeah, you don't need to watch a Mets game. They're all the same.
Madison Square Garden is way cooler.
Yeah. I mean, listen.
Well, with one, you actually have a possibility of it happening. The other, it's pretty rare.
Which one is that?
I'll
The
let
Knicks.
I'll let you figure that. Yeah.
The Knicks were in the playoffs last year.
Yeah, but the
They got a
Knicks
good
do
squad.
often suck.
They didn't suck last year. You
Yeah,
would know
last
that
year
if you
they
read
have
my emails.
they have a track record of sucking.
Who emails anymore?
I do.
Fuck the hell off.
I don't like it when you're in here because I can't tell if you just said it again. Oh, he's talking to the dog.
Come say hi to the. Come say hi to the people, big boy. Hi.
What up?
Hey.
The debate was
what was
I'm
the
done.
what was the final tally? What was the final tally?
Middle dude slept, Como fucking sweated, and fucking Mandani came.
You know, Sliwa didn't do too bad with the quips, man. He was on it for a bit.
You got four zingers.
He
The
really
channel
prepared for Como. Yeah.
the Channel 4 team that was moderating got 2 zingers on their own.
Yeah, they got 2 zingers on fucking Cuomo because he's an idiot.
Yeah. All of those zingers were on Cuomo. All of them.
Right.
Yeah,
He tried to do Mamdani. It didn't work.
And it was very strange. Like it's like, dude, we're not even talking about nothing that has to do with a foreign fucking country. Let's talk about the buses. Well, you know he hates the Jews. It's like, what the fuck? Jesus Christ. He didn't even try to debate the man. He's like, he hates you, right?
What parade? What parade do you want to create? Well, he wouldn't want to be in a Jewish parade.
I think he said online the Hamas parade was his favorite. Like, fuck off, dude.
I don't think Mamdani did as good as the primary debate, but Cuomo did worse than the primary debate, if that's possible.
Which I didn't think. We got to do closing thoughts. I'm tripping. There's like literally a smidge left on here. Hold on.
You as well. We hope you got a lot out of it. New York City viewers, New York City voters.
Well, we got a third out of
November 4th.
Oh.
That was it. Their closing thoughts was asking them what their favorite breakfast sandwich was. So
yeah,
fuck.
From the bodega.
Listen, egg and cheese on a roll is
that shit is fucking flame.
Yeah.
With jalapeno.
With jalapeno? Oh my god.
He just won. That's Mayor Mamdani after saying that. The jalapenos? The penis?
They're all like egg and cheese, no salt. All right.
Oh,
man.
Okay, fucker.
I have high sodium. I had to watch my.
Can I have the Heinz low sodium ketchup on my egg?
Como is just, I like whatever you guys like. Whatever voter. I love every voter.
I'll have what he's having.
What's your favorite breakfast sandwich? Whatever he wants.
All food.
I'll eat anything if you fucking vote for me, please.
I think that's how he got all those sexual harassment lawsuits to begin with. So maybe he should avoid saying that.
Yeah, there's nothing. I'm surprised nobody said bacon, egg, and cheese. Come on.
Yep.
Bacon, egg, and cheese.
Bacon.
There is good more protein.
I get the whole roll thing, but no one put their shit on a bagel? Dude,
right? A New York bagel?
Egg and cheese on a bagel with a little catsup on that bitch?
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of my face. I don't need the bacon.
I live close enough to New York City where they never shut the fuck up about their bagels. So why isn't it on a bagel then?
Bagels.
I prefer my breakfast sandwich on an English muffin.
Oh yes, Mom Donnie is Muslim, so there's no bacon happening there.
You wouldn't eat the bacon part.
Lamb,
Jalapeno is a good
cheese.
substitute for bacon. It is. If you can't have bacon, put jalapeno on it.
Yeah,
that's fair.
Spice it up. He said, "I want to eat boring food." Well,
are we ready?
I guess
guys?
we've all peed on the sticks. Now we just have to wait. I don't, like this election should be because they only have one debate, correct? It's mayor.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah. Okay.
I think that's it.
When's the election? A couple of weeks here?
They said November sometime. Yeah,
November 5th.
Oh yeah,
November 4th, guys. November 4th is the election.
Yeah.
4th. Sorry.
Remember the 5th. Wait.
No, stop it. Tuesday, November 4th is the election. If you have municipal elections, it's Tuesday, November 4th.
The first Tuesday in November. So saith the law. The stone tablets from
it's the
on high.
first Tuesday after the first Monday in November.
Third Wednesday.
Very specific.
The last December.
Wow.
Are you giving bad election information on the internet? That would be a really bad idea, Mark. That is a crime, sir.
July 32nd.
See?
This motherfucker down here.
Yeah.
This motherfucker down here. I mean, if somebody shows up on the 32nd to something, I don't know what I should do to help them. Like, I don't. How did you get here? And how am I here knowing that you're here?
What happened to time and reality?
February 30th.
First of all, how were we both on this day?
No, they did it so that the election day was never November 1st for some reason. I forget why, but it could never be November 1st.
Oh, I gotta pay rent, man.
But so that's why it's the first Tuesday after the first Monday.
Okay. I think this should be. I think New York has a very obvious choice to make.
Yes, one man was offering solutions, and two were not.
Yeah,
it's probably why he wasn't doing as good. So he was like, "Fuck it! Like, do I even need to show up? Vote for me. Just listen to these pricks.
Listen to these dumbasses over here. Dumb and dumberer."
Oh, Tim, if you wanted to know, the reason the elections are on that Tuesday in November is due to a law passed in 1845 to accommodate religious and agricultural rhythms of 19th century America.
Cool. So for no reason.
Yep.
Yeah. It was what is it? The fucking
nothing to do
time
with
zone change.
Yeah.
Daylight savings time. That's what it is.
Yeah. Oh, we don't want to use up as much oil, so we'll just push back morning.
Daylight savings voting.
Yeah.
So, the reason that I was so late is I came back from a meeting of local Democrats in my town, and boy, were they so angry.
You think?
So angry. And not for the reason you think. So we have like a state committee of Democrats who, every DTC, every Democratic town committee has a member that goes to the state party and talks to the state party.
Okay.
Well, our state person came to us today, and we asked her some questions. She's an older lady, so we were nice to her.
Oh boy.
Better than me.
We asked her what the state party was going to do for our local party in the election, and she said nothing. She literally said, we asked, are we going to get money? Are we going to get support? It's only 3 weeks till the election. What are you going to do for us? And she said, there's no money and there's no help.
Okay.
And then the nice old lady got yelled at by other nice old ladies who wanted to know why. And she said, oh, well.
She didn't even ask, did she?
She is also the secretary of the state Democratic Party. So she should know. And her answer was basically, well, the party's kind of in chaos and we don't have any money. And we're all like, how does that fucking help any of us?
The pro-Dem party can totally be a thing.
By the way, I live in Connecticut, one of the bluest of the blue states.
And they still can't get their fucking dick out the mud.
I was shocked that our state Democratic Party doesn't have any fucking money. What is going on?
Yeah.
Now I have to find out why, because no one's telling me. No one ever told me we didn't have any money. And after she gave her spiel of we don't know how to help you, I stood up and said, well, the state party is not going to fucking help us, so we might as well do it ourselves.
No, look, that's how they got you, Tim. That was an actress. They just needed to give you that Rudy moment.
So that's why I was late. The meeting went a bit long because we were a bit ranty.
A bit, yeah.
A bit. And we just had a mayoral debate yesterday, and it I also don't want to talk about it.
That doesn't sound good.
It bees like that, Tim.
Yeah, it's like that sometimes. So anyway, long story short, the Connecticut State Democratic Party sucks. They suck. Where's the button, Mikey?
Oh, I got you.
Fucking thing.
That fucking thing sucks.
Yeah, there we go.
So mad.
And I don't know. I'm gonna have to figure out why. I don't know why they don't have any money. It's fucking Connecticut.
Well, I have a guess. Check their pockets.
Right, exactly. Like,
I have a guess of where it is.
I know some people in State Central. Anyway, now I have to go and like raise hell or something.
Good luck.
No Ireland for you.
Oh no, I'm going to Ireland. I'll be raising hell from Ireland.
Hey, he's gonna come back, y'all. We got his pets. He didn't quarantine them, so he ain't out the woods yet. He ain't leaving yet.
Mikey was so concerned that like a week ago I was gonna say, so the pets are, they're boarded for the next couple of weeks, and then I'm gonna go to Ireland and never come back because
as soon as Zeus and Apollo stay with Grandma for 2 weeks, I know what fucking time it is. Grandma is a boarding house that is quarantined so they can fly internationally.
They're already in Ireland.
Right. He's just been playing dog barks on a fucking Bluetooth speaker for fucking 2 weeks.
Bark, bark.
Woof. Woof, arf.
Woof, woof, woof.
Brack.
Anyway, so that's why I was so late. Because I had to yell at an old lady.
Well, yelling at people is kind of what we do over here.
Yeah.
Well, that was the debate. If you're in New York, please make sure you do your civic duty, even if you don't feel like you have to, because nobody asked you.
Yeah, you should vote.
Vote for Eric Adams.
Vote.
No, he's not even running anymore.
He's still polling at 2%.
Yeah,
he resigned. You can't vote for him anyway.
No, he can. He didn't withdraw in time to remove his name from the ballot.
Oh God, he's gonna get in. He's gonna get in. Whatever. It's not gonna pull from Mamdani.
No,
it's gonna pull from like Cuomo or Sliwa.
Yeah.
No one's voting for Sliwa. You can't pull votes from him. He's not gonna vote for him. He's like that Mamdani guy. Actually, when I thought about it after I got off the subway, he made a lot of sense.
As soon as he said jalapenos, I knew what my vote.
I knew
he's
I was
American.
I was in love. That's when I first was
Hala Mamdani.
Oh, that's actually really good.
Here we go. Simply Secular Dave says, vote like you still live in a democracy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because it could always be the last time.
I don't know what y'all talking about. They talking about they're going to cancel the midterms. My black ass is going to the polling place. I'm going to the polling place and I'm going to cast my vote. And then I'm going to track my vote online. And if that some bitch don't come back,
Mikey's going to get arrested at a polling place.
Oh, it ain't going to be just Mikey. It's going to be a whole bunch of arrested motherfuckers. You ain't finna just not count my shit. You better not count everybody else's. There's one vote this year is mine. My shit's getting counted.
Anybody doing some No Kings protesting on the 18th?
No,
I may or may not.
Yeah,
I am. Yeah.
In undetermined, I'm canvassing. I don't know if I'll have time to actually go to the protest.
Take pictures.
I can do that
stuff.
I mean, y'all act like going to protest is like, oh, it'll be a fun event. Not when there's an actual tyrannical government. I'm not gonna fucking
like he
crowd
lives in fucking Chicago. ICE is gonna pick him up.
Yeah.
He's clearly Haitian.
I live in the fucking woods in the mountains in Connecticut. Ain't no ICE agents over here.
There's 12 people in Minnesota. I'll be fine.
That's what you think until a fucking deer takes his head off and it's an ice age.
Surprise, bitch!
Surprise, motherfucker!
They're in the deer. They're in the woods.
No, it's they're in the trees. Like, no, the deer's in the trees, but they're in the deer.
It's funny. I did go door knocking last weekend, and I showed up at a house, and I knocked on the door, and deer showed up instead of people. So,
like in the house or
no, in the dude's driveway, some deer showed up.
Like,
okay, good. That does.
Hey, is Mark in there? Is Mark in there? No. All right.
He owes me $50.
No, man, because he said earlier he was gonna do the apples with the peanut butter on there, and then is he not home? All right.
No, he's not home.
He said he was going. Let me look in there. He said he was gonna come over.
He knock on the door for me. Maybe he'll come to the door for me.
I was like, what you do? What you got on my 40, homie? He said, "This ain't your woods, dog."
You got money for fake mustaches.
You got money to pay me back.
Pour one out for your bucks.
Man, I'm about to go watch Bambi.
Bambi.
Unironically.
Oh, have fun.
Unironically.
I love that movie. It was the first feature Disney movie.
Does the kid like Bambi?
She loves it.
Even the beginning, where the mom dies.
It's not even in the beginning. See, everybody need to go back and watch. Go watch Bambi. Everybody go watch Bambi again, because whatever you think in your head from your childhood trauma does not exist.
My childhood trauma.
I don't know if I've ever seen Bambi.
Thumper. I remember Thumper.
And what was this? And what was this skunk friend's name?
Skunk friend.
Kennedy
Bob.
Jr.
Bob.
So wait, if it's not how we remember, what deer did I see get killed?
I don't know, because you don't see it.
Was a
Bambi's body. No, you don't see any. Like,
yeah, he had a gunshot.
Bambi gets shot.
No,
but no one talks about that.
No,
shit.
Bambi doesn't get shot.
Bambi gets shot on camera, and no one fucking remembers. Like, his mom got their fucking brains blown out. It's like that wasn't even in the film. You imagine that part, and then you
is that like a Mandela effect thing where we just all have a cultural.
All right, so Google's lying when it says Bambi's mom was shot.
Did I say that? You gotta ask the right questions if you want an accurate answer. You did not see Bambi's mom get shot.
I'm not saying we see her get shot. She gets shot.
You do see Bambi get shot.
No,
but everyone
Bambi
said,
is not shot.
How much you want to bet, Mark?
12 cents.
Mikey's gonna find a clip now.
Yeah,
my kid watches the movie 5 times a fucking day. I would love to take your money. I'll bet you Helldivers on it.
Where's the sound clip of like, I'm mad?
No, I'm mad as hell. I'm not gonna take it anymore.
Fuck the hell off.
No, Luke.
Way.
I am your father.
Fuck the hell off.
Fuck the hell off.
Fuck the hell off.
Let's bring this boat home.
Bambi versus Godzilla.
Yeah, Alex gotta go to sleep. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. It was interesting, to say the least. Hit all the buttons, push all the stuff. We're almost at 1,000 subs. Once we get that 1,000 subs on YouTube, then we get ads, and then maybe we don't have to worry about all of this, super chats and all that shit. We'll talk about that more later. But in the meantime, each and every one of you, drink your
me.